The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. It's a fitting quotation to begin this story. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. Hamlet, William Shakespeare. And this is a story of the century in which he was born, the 16th. Young Will Shakespeare was an apprentice in his father's butcher shop. Queen Elizabeth ruled England, and Henry III presided over an uneasy France, torn apart by religious wars between the Huguenots and the Catholics. These were times bloodier than today, when no street was safe at night.
Night guard, what's the matter? We have safe conduct on a dark night like this. You think these thieves in livery will stop to see them? You're right. They may even be Huguenots. If we can just reach that next corner unseen, we have a chance. Come. Oh, do not what? I stepped on a pebble, my sword against the wall.
Stand and deliver, whoever you are. Lift the torches.
Run for your life, Denny.
Hold! Are we fired?
Pay no heed.
Fire!
Oh, dear, I'm hit. Oh, they've blown my whole side out to the right before they reload. Then at the end of the twisting lane, to the left, a door. If God or love is good, behind it, you may find refuge.
Our mystery drama, The Sire De Maletroits Door, was especially adapted from the Robert Louis Stevenson classic for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Michael Wager. It is sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule. The weapon you heard fired earlier was the arquebus, the precursor of the musket and our modern rifle. Not the weapon of the ordinary gentleman of this century whose sidearms were the rapier, a heavy weapon built two-edged for slicing and slashing with a sharp point for thrusting. Roger Chantivert and Dennis de Beaulieu were only so armed when they were attacked, leaving Roger mortally wounded on the cobblestones of Chateau Landin. But let's begin with the other, Dennis de Beaulieu. Earlier that same evening, as he is finishing a flagon of wine with the landlord of the Auberge Tête du Port.
I beg your honor to stay off the streets of Chateau Landin at dark.
Why, good host, it's scarcely dusk. What have I to fear?
In the France of 1575, many things, thieves, cutthroats, and as bad as all of them, the guard itself. Most of all, the times. Half the city is still at war.
What? With a truce proclaimed.
Piece of paper.
But I have a safe conduct.
There's also just a piece of paper.
Well, landlord, I thank you for your kind concern. Nay, this reward you sufficiently.
Oh, the young gentleman is most generous.
Well, come with me to the door and point out to me while the light lasts the way I must go to my friend Chantivale's house.
Was he not?
No, that's the street.
See the church spire where the bell for evening mass is tolling?
High on the hill to the right.
The same. They mark you very close to it, the chateau.
I've marked it before. What great lord lives there?
The Sire De Maletroits, owner of this fief, and lands beyond as far and further than the eye could reach. Woe betide any man who should cross his path.
Well, I'm not likely to, since I'm here in your city only for the night. Pretty direct me on my way west. I can still see to trace it.
I'm sending you over the hill rather than around, for the lanes twist and turn enough to set one's head spinning. But if you steer between the church and the chateau, on the other side of the hill is a straight avenue, and 3 streets down, you'll find the Rue des Beaux-Arts.
The chateau to my left, and as always, the church to my right, and I pass between them.
Justement.
Don't worry about the dark. I'll not tarry for Mass. I'd be too late anyway.
You were a long time at confession, Blanche.
Oui, monsieur.
What can a young bird not even out of its nest and the Maletroits at that have to confess that takes up so much time?
Please, Uncle.
Have no fear, niece. I'm too good a Catholic to invade the confessional, and let me hand you to the coach.
Thank you.
Eh bien, Devon, to the chateau. But why so tearful, madame?
Oh, not tearful, but tired.
Tired? Of what, little one? Life? An arduous day? Père Maillot's usual droning of the Mass, or a month of deception?
Deception?
The circles we travel in are small, Blanche. The least pebble dropped in the circumscribed pool of our life sets up waves. Among the cognoscenti there are no secrets, such as...
Oh, my hand, you're hurting me.
Loosen it, so that I may see what worm my little bird has
I
caught.
don't know what you mean.
I'm afraid you do. But as always, those embroiled in scandal are the last to hear. In the Maletroits family, that word does not exist, will not be allowed to exist. Open your hand or I will crush it open.
You meant no harm.
I shall be the judge of that. Open.
Oh.
A spilled paper, badly crushed. A billet doux, no doubt.
What are you going to do?
Read it and decide. We're almost home. I think I shall defer my answer till we are behind the walls of Chateau Maletroit. Go to your quarters, mademoiselle. Send the maîtresse de chambre to me at once.
But if only I could...
Obey me. Nobody crosses my wishes.
Oui, monsieur. As you desire.
Père Maillot. Père Maillot.
À votre service, Messiah. You are late.
My niece wished to make confession. Had she chosen you, my mind might have been eased more quickly.
Even for you, Messiah. How could I break the seal of confession?
The question can be begged. It isn't necessary. I know now what is and what has to be done. I have instructions for you, the maîtresse de chambre, and send for my ironsmith immediately. There is much to be done before I set my trap, and small time to accomplish it. But once I have caught my fly, he will dance to my tune or suffer the consequence.
Darkness had dropped faster than I could have anticipated. As I climbed the twisting, meandering streets, I almost was sorry I'd not come by horseback. Fortunately, against the night sky, my twin stars stood outlined, the chateau and the church. Actually, approaching the church, the torches of those leaving Mass were a beacon to lead me on. I even hesitated a moment at the sight of one beauty escorted to a carriage before passing on. And arriving at last on the downslope of the hill on the other side at my friend Oliver's lodgings. And one more for the road.
I drink not to that, but to you, monsieur.
To both? God save me for any others, and punish me if this should be a lie. But I swear by the winged archer himself, or any comparable saint, if this were any other night, I would make no end of it.
I understand. Where there's a lady...
but such a lady. If I dared divulge all, but... listen, midnight. She'll be here within the hour.
I need no explanation, dear friend. I love the ladies as much as you. Indeed, on my way here, as I passed the church square, there was one who caught my eye.
Oh, the damn Breton weather. Here comes the rain again.
Can we go? At your heels or by your side? Always.
We had so much to talk about.
Except this special night. Forget it. Stay for your assignation. I'll find my way back to the inn. Our paths will cross soon again.
Oh, no weather. I'll see you over the crest of the hill. From there, can you find your own way down?
I found my way up.
Aye, well enough, even by partial daylight. But in God's name, step quietly and carefully. Trust no one. Keep to yourself. No one. It's a bad time when everything runs awry.
You lead. I promise to be as careful as any church precepts will be.
There's the church to your left. Just follow the street we're on. Keep remembering to bear always to your right and downhill, and you'll be at the inn within the quarter hour. But move quietly.
Au revoir, Saint Hiver.
Go in peace. And with you, just one thing. The night guard.
What matter? We have safe conduct.
On a night like this, you think these thieves in livery will stop to look at them?
You're right.
And just reach the next corner, we may have a chance. Unseen, come.
No, what?
Steps of a pebble, my sword hit against the wall.
Send and deliver, whoever you are. Lift the torch.
Run for your life, then.
Hold! Always fire!
Pay no heed, run.
Oh, dear. I'm hit.
Too late. They've blown my whole side out. The left, the heart. I'm done for, Dennis. Run down the hill. Keep toward the Sire De Maletroits Chateau. They may be less anxious to follow you there. Why? It's a power. More than that, I cannot say. Just try. His door.
There was nothing I could do for Saint Hiver. My dearest friend there was no treating with the pack of hounds that followed us. I fled from them, following the tortuous alleys, ever conscious of their footsteps after mine. Rushing down a lane scarce wide enough to accommodate myself, I suddenly found myself faced with a waist-high terrace, which I was about to leap. Through some instinct, the rising moon stayed me. Small wonder. On my side was a 4-foot wall, but had I o'erleaped it, I would have dropped 40 feet to a craggy field of stone. I could hear the mob behind me. I was prepared to face them with sword and pointed, but the firearms I could not challenge. Door! To the left of me was a portico, and in its shadow a door. Any port in a storm. At least with something against my back, I could fight. I drew my sword, ducked into the shadows, and thrust my back against the door. And to my amazement, it gave way behind my weight, opening to let me into possible safety. As it gave behind me, I heard the hound pack on my trail. I thought to close the door, not quite in order to observe what had happened outside, but as I pushed gently, of a sudden, as though it was whisked from my hands, it thudded shut. From what pursued me, I was safe. That door could stand a battering ram. But a new and strange threat had developed. I had no desire to close the door all the way shut. It had been snatched from my hands with no control from me. I stood in a small hall with a staircase, rising out of the gloom. I turned to the door.
was as smooth as silk. No way of reopening it. I was trapped. My only way out was up the staircase before me. I had no choice. I started to mount, drawing my only weapon and wondering only if it could protect me and what I faced when I reached the top of those steps. For some reason, a premonition of unnamed terror ran like black feet down my spine.
What monstrous figure awaited Dennis de Beaulieu at the top of the steps? What swirling ghost from the underworld or some other world threatened his immortal soul? I can at least report some of that as we return shortly with Act 2.
Three or one? That's the question when you catch the common cold. Then take 12-hour contact. You need 6 cold tablets, 2 every 4 hours, or 3 cold pills, 1 every 4 hours, or just 1 contact capsule. For up to 12 hours, continuous relief from sneezing, congestion, drips. The tiny time pills do it. For aches and fever, the others contain aspirin. Contact doesn't. Your cold, your choice. 6 or 3 or 1. Give your cold to Contact, the #1 cold medicine in the whole world. 6 or 3 or 1. Take Contact only as directed.
Blind and successful? Well, we're here to tell you. There are lots of us all over the country. We're blind, but we're just like you.
I'm a senior clerk at the Downstate Medical Center. Part of my life just is getting up and going to work and performing certain functions on my job. I look at the NSC in the same respect, that there's a commitment and an obligation. That to be able to give of yourself and to know that somewhere it will help others, and perhaps in turn that someone else who gives a little may in some way eventually help you. And when it all comes together, it can produce something, very good and very big for the benefit of everyone.
For further information, get in touch with your local affiliate of the National Federation of the Blind, or contact me, Kenneth Jernigan, President, National Federation of the Blind, 218 Randolph Hotel Building, Des Moines, Iowa, 50309. This message presented as a public service by this station and the members of the National Federation of the Blind.
What did face Dennis de Beaulieu as he entered a large room of polished stone with arras-draped openings on 3 sides and 2 large windows on the 4th was a little old gentleman in a fur tippet seated by the fireplace in a high-backed chair. The great stone fireplace was between the windows, and carved into it the arms of the Maletroits.
Seeing those arms, I was immensely eased and felt myself in good hands. Still, winded from my running, we looked silently at each other for a second or two. In the brief exchange of glances, although the man was smiling and relaxed, I found myself tensing again. Something about him, the peaked eyebrows, the small, strong eyes, so quaintly evil in expression. Belying the beautiful white hair hung straight all about his head, like a saint.
I am Allah, Sire De Maletroits. Pray, step in.
I am indebted to you, sir. Pray pardon this unwarranted intrusion.
Oh, not at all. I've been expecting you since I heard the church bell toll.
Me, Messiah?
Yes.
Oh, I'm afraid this is a double accident, sir. I'm not the person you suppose me to be.
Really?
No, it seems you were expecting a visitor.
Assuredly, I was.
But I can assure you that nothing was further from my thoughts or more contrary to my wishes than my arriving here. I am loath to let you labor under some misapprehension.
No, that. If I do, surely it is the privilege of old age, and all will be straightened out in due time. Bring my guest a cup of spiced wine. You will join me, young man.
Messiah,
I have no desire to force you.
I'm wondering about that. Behind the arras your servant has opened, I see what appears to be a small army of pikesmen and arquebusiers.
I am old, as I have remarked, and these are perilous times. Even the nobility needs protection. The wine, sir.
I accept your courtesy.
The wine, don't. Bring it.
If only to explain my presence satisfactorily, and perhaps be accorded an explanation of why it failed to surprise you.
In good time.
I was visiting a friend, and on my way back to the inn, my friend accompanying me, we were set on by an armed band, Huguenots, assassins, the guard I know not. But that their intentions were violent and criminal is attested to by the fact that my friend was shot and killed. I fled with him in hot pursuit. Unfortunately, picking this cul-de-sac, I saw your door and fought with my back against it to be able to make some fight for my life. But as I leaned against it, it opened with my weight. And I gladly entered to put it between myself and the assassins who would have killed and robbed me also.
A pretty story.
You don't believe me?
Does it matter so much after all?
But nevertheless, that is what happened. Once they had searched without finding me, I would have left, but your door...
Ah, yes. My door. A little piece of ingenuity.
No question of that. It fled from my hand as if someone had pulled it shut from the outside. I could find no means of opening it from the inside.
Yes. Most ingenious. A hospitable fancy.
Hospitable?
To be sure. You arrived uninvited, but believe me, very welcome.
You persist in error, sir. There can be no question between you and me. I am a stranger in this countryside. My name is Denis de Maletroits Door. If you see me at your house, it is only as I have told you.
My young friend, you will permit me to have my own ideas on that subject. They probably differ from yours at the present moment, but time will show which of us is in the right. Here comes our wine. Let us enjoy it while the heat is still in it.
We sat in silence while the servant served the wine and left. Again, I saw the armed men beyond the arras. I was conscious in the silence now of voices. One male and one female hurriedly gabbling as if in prayer behind the third arras. Meanwhile, the old gentleman surveyed me over the rim of his cup from head to foot. I was convinced I was dealing with a lunatic. And a dangerous one. I could stand it no longer. I got to my feet, clapping my hat on my head.
You haven't finished your wine.
Nor do I intend to. This is sheer madness. If you're in your wits for all your offered hospitality, you affront me grossly.
Oh, dear.
My conscience is clear. You've made a fool of me since the first moment. I'm leaving. And if I cannot make my way out in a more decent fashion, I'll hack your door in pieces with my sword.
Sit down, you rogue, and listen to me. Do you fancy that when I had that little contrivance made for the door, I stopped short at that?
I've already seen your small army behind the arras armed to the teeth.
Exactly. So if you prefer to be bound hand and foot until your bones ache, make one move to depart. If you choose to remain free, agreeably conversing with an aging gentleman? Why then, resume your seat, finish your wine in peace, and God be with you.
So, I'm a prisoner.
I state the facts. Now, let us finish the wine before it is cold. It serves to make the waiting more agreeable.
But what? What are we waiting for?
You entered from one arras-covered arch. You have seen that the main house lies behind the second. We are waiting for what is taking place behind the third.
Yes, but what?
For a lady to make up her mind. Perhaps the longest wait a man can endure. À votre santé, mon brave. Pick up. It passes the time.
Again we sat, facing each other, the sire relaxed, patient, but for all his tiny stature and age, forbidding. For myself, I found myself downing the wine at the gulp, almost choking on it as my throat tightened with some unknown dread. And I faced battle with less fear in my heart than I felt in this bewildering game whose purpose I knew not. A nightmare of nightmares. I turned to the arras as if by staring at it hard enough, I could divine what was happening behind it.
Daughter, in the name of the Lord Almighty, will you truly confess and admit to your sins?
I tell you, Père Maillot, I have not sinned.
You have lusted after men, young men who feast their eyes on you.
Oh, how can I, whom held here in the chateau, a virtual prisoner since my father and mother died?
You chose the most sinful place of all, before the altar at the Holy Mass.
But it is the only time I leave these walls. If I lift my eyes to look at the world outside, is that a sin?
You have done more than look. You know the sire intercepted a communication to you from some man today. What was his name?
I know not.
Are you sure?
Did I lie to you, my father?
Sin leads to sin. I can look in your eyes and tell you know his name.
Even if I did, I would not tell you.
Or the sire?
Nor my uncle. I know how cruel he can be.
How cruel both of us can be to save your immortal soul. Would you prefer we found the answer with a thumbscrew or the iron bolt?
No, you would not. My uncle would not.
Do not be too sure. The honor of the Maletroits name has never been sullied. As the last of the line, save yourself. The sire will never permit it to be. The name of the young man that passed you the note?
No. I have done naught to feel shame for. Nor if there were such a cavalier, neither is he. The note, I cannot deny. It exists. But everything else is your foul imagination and my uncle's. I will not let you harm an innocent man because of who I am.
So be it. I commiserate with you, my daughter, in the church. You have brought your punishment upon your own head. I go to inform your uncle.
Man, because of who I am.
So be it. I commiserate with you, my daughter, in the church. You have brought your punishment upon your own.
The silence between the Sire De Maletroits and myself, broken only by the intriguing murmur of voices behind the arras whose words could not be heard, had become intolerable. I was just about to speak when the third arras was pushed aside. The tall priest, his brows knitted in anger, his cool face set doggedly, came into the room. He stopped briefly in surprise, seeing me, favoring me with a long, keen stare, then crossed to the side, stopping his voice so I could scarce hear his words.
Is she in better spirit, Father? I think she is more tractable, more resigned. Denis de Beaulieu, this is my père familial, attached to my family. Père Maillot, Demoiselle de Beaulieu. Let us together repair to the chapel to meet with my niece, and settle our affairs once and for all.
Common decency required I offer my arm to the Sire De Maletroits, who accepted it without question and limped with me along with the priest's vigorous stride. Through the arras we entered a small chapel, pierced by many little windows shaped like stars. On the steps of the altar knelt an incredibly beautiful young girl, dressed as a bride.
I have brought a friend to see you, my child. Turn around and give him your pretty hand. It is good to be devout, but necessary to be polite, my niece.
Uncle, please, don't embarrass me anymore. Whatever you ask of me, I will do. Only one thing I will resist to my dying breath. I will not tell you the young man's name. He is innocent of any wrongdoing. Pierre has threatened me with the thumbscrew and the boot. Mayhap in my agony you could force his name from me.
Fortunately, my fair, that is no longer necessary. We have the young man here.
What?
I asked you to be polite and turn around and give him your hand.
From the moment we had entered, I held my breath. The setting was only too obvious. The bride awaiting the groom. And it was not hard to realize that I must be cast in that role. I could scarce believe what was happening to me, and if I would be forced into a captivity I neither deserved nor would endure. Until the girl herself turned to me and said,
"That's not the man. Uncle, that is not the man."
Of course not. I expected as much. It was so unfortunate that you could not remember his name.
I swear I have never seen this gentleman before.
I am distressed to hear it. But it is never too late to begin. I had little more acquaintance with my own late lady before I married her, which proves that these impromptu marriages often work for the best in the long run.
"Marriage? Messiah, I strenuously object to being dragooned."
Of course, any man of spirit might. The bridegroom has a right to have a voice in the matter. I will give you until dawn to make up for lost time till we proceed with the ceremony.
Well, here's not so pretty a state of affairs. And the word affair is strictly used. For evidently the remorseless Sire De Maletroits is convinced that his niece has brought the threat of dishonor on his name. A threat we might treat more lightly today, but 400 years ago one lived by different standards, and the punishment for overstepping rules was more disastrous. A woman's virtue, if profaned, meant instant and unpleasant death. I'll return shortly with Act 3.
Inside you're free after all. You hear freedom spirit like a wild bird call. Inside you're free after all. Living free.
There's a long stretch of open road before you. You at the controls of a Buick Century. A really fine mid-sized car. Comfort abounds. A sophisticated suspension system is smoothing the way. An underhood of frugal V6 engine economically goes about its business. You're happy, you're free, and you're in a Buick.
Inside you're free. Inside you're free after all. Living free. Living free.
Do you know about your Culligan man calling?
My Culligan man calling? That's when I go, hey, Culligan man. Now, that's Culligan man calling.
No, I mean your Culligan man may be calling on you soon. I'll show you how it goes. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Culligan man.
Culligan man who?
No, look, this isn't a game. You know Culligan, the worldwide water conditioning people.
Yes.
Well, the Culligan man is your local water expert right here to solve your water problem.
How do I know if I have water problems?
Look at it this way. If we didn't have hard water here or some kind of water problems, then the Culligan man wouldn't even be here, would he?
I see.
So, you know what to say when the Culligan man knocks?
Yes, and I know what to say if he doesn't, too.
What?
Hey, Culligan man.
Well, I can't knock that.
Want to try Culligan soft water without buying? Now you can rent a Culligan water softener for as little as $5.50 a month. For complete details on how you can rent a Culligan, pick up your phone and say,
Hey, Culligan man!
This is WBBM Chicago.
In the small chapel in the Maletroits Chateau, the light flickers vagrantly across the faces of the four who stand there. Shadowed, the saturnine priest belies his garments, looking like some vulpine devil. As the light plays across the sire's face, that comically evil smile seems even more mocking. As for Dennis and Blanche, the one is white with astonishment, the girl blushing with embarrassment.
Sherlock, you cannot be in earnest.
Indeed I can. And am.
I declare before God I will stab myself rather than be forced on that poor young man.
I assure you, you will not have the opportunity.
Oh, mon oncle, pity me. There isn't a woman alive in France that would not rather die than have such a marriage forced upon her. Is it possible that you do not believe me? That you still think this is the man?
Frankly, I do. But let me explain to you once and for all, Blanche de Maletroits, that when you took it into your head to dishonor my family and the name that I have borne, you forfeited any right to question my designs or even to look me in the face.
Oh, my God, if you'll only
Not
listen.
one word more. It is my duty to see you married at once. Out of pure goodwill, I have tried to find your own gallant for you, and I believe I have succeeded. But if I have not, I care not one jackstraw. So let me recommend that you be polite to our young friend, for, damn me, upon my word, your next groom may be less appetizing.
I had watched and listened to all this in puzzled silence. And silence for another reason. In 2 short minutes, watching the emotions that crossed her exquisite face, I felt I had come to know this girl. Her capacity for love, her tenderness, her bravery. And know, did I say? More than that. Admire, revere, love her for all she was. I was already jealous of her unknown cavalier. But that milady had spirit as well, I was soon to discover as the arras closed behind her uncle and the priest. And she whirled upon me with flashing eyes.
Now, what, sir, may be the meaning of all of this?
Well, Lord knows this house seems to be full of mad people.
Do you count me one of them?
Oh, I did not mean that.
Good. For I can tell you, I am enough in my wits to see that my uncle and yourself have made some monstrous bargain between
If
you.
you think I'm engaged in some plot without old devil out there, you're beyond your wits. I've no bent to marry with you, nor would I have if you asked me. I'm as much a prisoner in this house as you appear to be.
Then pray, how came you here?
I was on my way from Paris to join my regiment in Alençon and stopped off in this misbegotten town to seek an old acquaintance and spend an evening with him. While he was seeing me back to the inn, we were set upon by a bunch of assassins, and my friend was shot and killed. Huguenots, cutthroats, your own night guard, who knows? Seems that everyone is mad in this town. In all events, I took to my heels for my life, made the mistake of turning into your street from which there was no escape. I backed against your door, hoping perhaps to stay unnoticed in the shadow of the portico. To my surprise, it opened with my weight, and naturally I stepped in, only to have it closed by some mechanism beyond my comprehension. When I tried to open it, there was neither latch nor handle nor any means to accomplish that.
Well, of course. That's what Jean and the other ironmongers were working at down there all evening. It wasn't you they expected to trap, but
Who?
the cause of all of this. Oh, please, I know not your name, but please forgive me for what I said before.
Oh, mademoiselle, the longer I spend with you, the more I could forgive you everything.
Oh, don't jest with me, please. It is all my fault that you are caught as you are. Oh, what can I do?
Well, let's make a start by doing what I have done and tell me the answer to all these riddles.
I'm ashamed. And yet, there's so little to tell. I was left an orphan early and had been brought up in this house mainly by the sire himself.
He's not married.
Well, his wife died when I was 14. I've not been very happy since. And that's why 3 months ago, when a young captain began to stand near me every day in church, and I saw that I pleased him.
Why wouldn't you? Go on.
Oh, I'm much to blame. I was so glad that anyone should offer me love that when he pressed me a letter, I took it home and I read it with pleasure. And since that time, he's written me so many. But in the last few, asked me to leave my door open some night so that he might come and talk with me on the stairs. How my uncle came to suspect me, I don't know, but...
There are always idiots with little to do but let their tongues wag.
I suppose so. Well, tonight at Vespers, the captain handed me a desperate note that he was to be transferred. Tonight was his last night, and again he begged that I would leave the door open. And in the carriage, coming home, the sire forced the note from my hand and read it. And when we got home, he ordered me to dress as you see me. And when I would not tell him the captain's name, he must have laid the trap for him, into which you fell. I don't know how to apologize or to ask you to forgive me.
Neither is necessary.
Oh, but it is. To have put you, a complete stranger, in such a degrading and embarrassing position, I'm so ashamed.
Mademoiselle, you've honored me with your confidence. It only remains for me to prove myself not unworthy of the honor. I see your uncle is back in his favorite chair.
What are you going to do?
If you will go first and let me follow, I'll show you.
Are you in some haste for the ceremony?
Monsieur, I believe I have some say in the matter of this marriage. So let me say this at once and for all. I will be no party to forcing your niece against her inclination.
Really?
Had it been offered to me freely, I should have been proud to accept her hand, but it is clear that she is as good as she is beautiful. But as things stand, I have the honor, Messiah, of refusing. Why do you smile, sir?
I am afraid that you do not clearly understand your options. Follow me to the window, please. See this rope weaved efficiently through the ring set in the upper masonry? Now mark my words. If you refuse to marry my niece, I shall have you hanged out of this window by sunrise.
Oh, no!
Oh, yes. Your family may be well enough in its way, de Beaulieu. But if you sprang from Charlemagne himself, I would not permit you to refuse the hand of a Maletroit with impunity.
Oh, for pity's sake, Uncle, listen to me.
This is between this young man and myself. Be quiet. The honor of my house has been compromised. I believe you to be the guilty person. At the very least, you're now in the secret.
There are other ways of settling affairs among gentlemen. You wear a sword, which I hear you have used with distinction.
Mayo?
Yes, Messiah.
You would be out of hand before you reached your sword. And let us not rush anything. You have a good 2 hours to resolve your problem. If you'll give me your word of honor to await my return before attempting anything desperate, I shall withdraw my retainers and leave you in privacy.
You have my word of honor.
I declare, monsieur, the more I see of you, the better I think of you. Come, Captain, we'll excess baggage for the moment. But marry you shall, or dangle from yonder ring.
You shall not die. You shall marry me, after all.
I've been trained for knighthood, madam. Think you for a moment I stand in fear of death?
But I cannot have you slain for a mere scruple.
You underrate the difficulty. What you may be too generous to refuse, I may be too proud to accept. In a moment of noble feeling for me, you forget what you may owe to another.
Oh, mon Sylvia. How you shame me.
Oh, mademoiselle, please, please.
In God's name. Leave me alone. I can hold it back no longer.
I was in an agony of embarrassment. I cannot bear to see a woman cry. And I was as helpless as a babe. I looked at Blanche and thought how much I had grown to love her. But steal her from another man who was not there to stand and fight?
Monsieur Bayeux, I want to help you. For you have been so noble. Put it in my power to do something more for you but weep.
What service can I ask of you? You have a sweet nature. And overestimate a small service.
I am looking at you and seeing the noblest man I ever met.
Who is to die in a mousetrap? With no more noise than my own squeaking.
I will not have my champion think meanly of himself. You have no cause to hang your head, nor will I mine. Pray, do you not think me beautiful?
Oh, indeed, mademoiselle, I do.
Well, I'm glad of that. And how many men in France have been asked in marriage by a beautiful maiden with her own lips, and who have refused her to her face?
You are very good. But you cannot make me forget I was asked in pity, and not for love.
Can you look in my eyes now and believe that it was for anything but love? I have loved you since the first moment you took my part against my uncle.
As I have loved you.
Oh.
But the captain...
Oh, he knew nothing to me. He never did. It was just a contact with the outside world. Good Lord, it's sunrise. Come with me quickly to the window. There, open the arras. The sun is shining. The world is still there. Now, what are we to say to my uncle when he returns?
What you will. Blanche, you have seen whether or not I fear death. If you do care for me, don't let me lose my life in a misapprehension. But make no mistake, I love you better than life itself.
I can offer you your freedom. My uncle would far rather punish or capture the real culprit. If you must escape, the captain's name is René de Parterre.
I never heard the name. And if I did, it is forgotten.
Well, children, have you decided?
Sire De Maletroits, Not by suasion or fear of death, but because I have learned to know the lady and love her. I, Dennis, Demoiselle de Beaulieu, request the honor of your niece's hand in holy matrimony.
Damn, I had a feeling for you the first moment I set eyes on you. Welcome to the Maletroits family, nephew.
So, once again, and this time for the last time, we close the Sire De Maletroits Door on a happy ending. I'll be back shortly.
A few good men. That's what the Marines are looking for. A few good college men who want to lead. Men who have enough on the ball to be eligible for PLC, platoon leaders class. Not everyone can make it. It takes brains. It takes muscle. And summer training is no picnic. It takes men who want a real challenge. The challenge of leading Marine ground troops, flying sophisticated Marine aircraft, or serving as Marine lawyers. If you're one of the few who can make it, there's financial assistance available during school, up to $2,700 over 3 years. There's even free civilian flying lessons for qualified men. PLC ground, PLC air, PLC law, for a few good men.
Sentimentalists among the listeners, Captain Parterre had no serious intentions. He was indeed trifling with Blanche's innocent affections. Little did he know, nor would he have cared, that he brought two young people to a happy and enduring marriage. The captain died shortly thereafter in a brawl over a gaming debt, which is neither here nor there in our story, except that it's nice to know that every so often, virtue does triumph. Our cast included Michael Wager, William Redfield, Marion Seldes, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Marvelous how you can get around when you've got no body, isn't it?
See him? Little white dog, curly tail.
Oh, silly little thing.
And see that big blue station wagon? It's going to hit him.
No, I've got him. Got him, Cynthia. I've saved him.
You'll probably get run over anyhow one of these days.
No, he won't. No, he won't. I'm going to keep my eye on him.
What about all the others?
Them too. And cats and people and everybody. Oh, Cynthia, why did it take me so long to find out what I was born to do? I could have spent my whole life doing this. Cynthia, my afterlife is going to be 100 times more exciting than my life ever was.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents
I'm E.G. Marshall. Our tale...
For the love of Allah, have compassion for the less fortunate.
Here, take this.
The blessings of Allah. The blessings of all your gods go with you always.
Save your blessings, good woman, for an object more worthy than I.
May all your days... No! Allah protect me! Take your money. May God protect me from all evil.
She threw away the money I gave her. Oh, what can be wrong?
Welcome to the Street of the Seven Silversmiths.
Well, where did you...
Permit me to introduce myself. Mahmoud bin Said, your most humble servant. Proprietor of this modest shop behind you.
House of Mahmoud, rarest curios.
Won't you enter and grace my poor establishment with the honor of your presence?
Look, Mr. Mahmoud, I've just arrived on the bus. It was a long, hard trip. All I want is a bed and a bath and a little rest.
I understand perfectly. Won't you please step inside my shop, Mr...
Arresti, Dr. Carlo Arresti. Well, if you insist, but just for a minute.
Through these curtains, if you please. Welcome. This is my home as well as my shop, you see. May I offer you a glass of mint tea?
Well, not at this moment, thank you. Oh, your shop is beautiful.
Thank you.
And what an assortment. Old Berber rifles, ancient knives, swords from all over the world.
All of them razor sharp.
Yes, and these strange masks. Grotesque statuettes. Why, with all these wonderful things you have here, would it be possible that you might also have samples of pottery, ancient pottery, shards, fragments, broken pieces that might have been found in this region, in caves, or in an excavation? Like this?
A moment until I put on my spectacles. At my age, it's necessary to... Dr. Arresti, if you know what is good for you, leave my shop at once.
Well, what's wrong? Ever since I stepped off the bus, everyone in this town seems to...
Leave, I beg you. I have nothing for you, nothing. Go back to wherever you came from. You carry danger with you. You carry death. Go.
Don't push me, please. Just tell me why and I'll go. Now, why does everyone run away from me? And what are you talking about? I carry danger. I carry death.
That talisman, the little animal head you wear about your neck, you know its meaning. It is one of the faces of Magira. This is why people run away from you. You terrify them.
Well, then I'll take it off.
You are trying to destroy Magira, correct? Abandon your search, for she will destroy you first.
I am not frightened.
You should be. My people are, and they know. They know Magira. She fills them with a terror that cannot be measured. You are familiar with her weapons?
I think so.
The tears that are not tears of salt, but tears of blood. The potion that dulls the senses. The many different shapes that she assumes to confuse you, especially that of the black lamb.
I know them all.
And you know that above everything else, Magira will stop at nothing to keep her secret hidden. The secret you are trying to uncover.
I know the risk is great, and I'm willing to take it. Well, what was that? Who's laughing?
What laughter? I hear nothing.
I could have sworn I heard the voice of a girl, a young girl, laughing.
You imagined it, I am sure. Now, if you will permit me to show you a few of my treasures. If you will look over your head, just above the chair on which you're sitting.
I see it.
A coat of mail.
No. Next to the coat of mail. What's that?
That stuffed animal head mounted up there on the wall.
Oh, no. It is nothing, Dr. Oresti. The local taxidermist had no room for it. He gave it to me.
Well, why do you keep it?
It's a curiosity. The head of one of our local mountain sheep.
That laughter, it seems to be coming right out of the mouth of that lamb.
From the most ancient times, the lamb was the animal designated to be the symbolic victim of man's sacrifice to his gods. And now a lamb, a black lamb, has once again become symbolic. Only this time, for Dr. Carlo Oresti, it seems to have taken on a feeling of evil. But evil or not, it may lead him to the unraveling of a secret he thinks could begin to change the course of all mankind. I'll return shortly with Act Two. Dr. Carlo Oresti, archaeologist, has traveled halfway round the world searching for a piece of pottery thousands of years old. He has unearthed part of it. He is convinced that if he can find the rest, it may lead to a revelation that could bring a more peaceful world. He sits in the curio shop of Mahmoud bin Said, staring at the stuffed head of a small black lamb mounted on the wall.
Who is that, Mr. Mahmoud?
I told you, nothing...
That laughter, it seems to be coming right out of the mouth of that stuffed lamb's head up there.
Dr. Oresti, you are a magic.
No. It's going outside into the street.
Where are you going, Dr. Oresti?
I must follow that laughter.
No, stay where you are, please.
Don't try to stop me. I'm following it. It keeps moving around. Well, now where has it gone to?
May I help you, sir?
Huh? Well, where did you come from?
Matter. I am here. You are a stranger. You now have a friend.
Well, that's very, very kind of you, I'm sure.
You will meet every friend you can get.
You're a very interesting young lady and a very pretty one, too. Beautiful, long black hair.
Your words are most generous.
Who are your parents? Where do you live? And, forgive me, please, but have you no better clothes than these that you wear?
You question much. My parents, who knows? I live where I wish. These torn rags, I prefer them. Why have you come to this place? What are you hoping to find here?
My work brings me here. I'm looking to uncover one of the deepest secrets of the world. What I should be looking for at this moment is a place to sleep. I've traveled a long way. I'm tired.
At the end of this street, there is the Inn of the One-Eyed Camel. It will suit you. This thing you are looking for, whatever it may be, if you find it, what then?
Well, then I will have things to do.
You have an idea where to find what you are searching for.
Maybe I do.
Some place of darkness.
What?
A place of little light.
Who are you?
I am your friend. Trust me.
But those words, where did you...
Too many questions. Oh, come. Take my hand.
Something is happening to me. I find it difficult to breathe, to walk.
You are tired from your long journey. Here, drink from this little flask. It will help you. Drink deeply. Good.
So sweet. Like hold on to my hand. I think I'm going to faint. Girl, where are you? Where have you gone? Erebos, Uranu, Mason, a place, darkness, midway. No, don't try to move. Be quiet, Dr. Oreste. You will be well. Well, who are you? Oh, you're the man from the curio shop. Mahmoud bin Said at your service. What happened? I left your shop looking for a place to sleep. I know. Well, where am I? What place is this? You are in my humble home. At the back of my small shop. You are welcome. Well, how did I get here? You are taken ill. Momentarily. You fainted. In the street? I remember she gave me something to drink. Who gave you something to drink? As I left your shop, a young girl came up to me. She seemed to know what I was here for. What else? Why, I asked her who she was. She took hold of my hand. I grew dizzy. And she gave you something to drink, very sweet. Yes. And then I just passed out. I have done my best to warn you, Doctor. She knows why you are here. And she will do all in her power to destroy you. Dr. Oreste, go back to your own country. Well, what are you talking about? I am talking about Magiera. Who else? Are you telling me that the young girl in the street... Rest quietly, sir. I will go bring you some cold water to drink. I shall be but a minute. It's so dark in here I can hardly see. Is it night? You? The girl who...
How do you feel?
What did you give me to drink?
A small drop to warm the mind, the heart, the soul.
Well, where are you? I can't see you. It's grown so dark.
Here, at the back door. Rise from your bed and follow me. Follow me and trust me. Here is the cold water, Dr. Oreste. How did she get in here? Again? You saw her again? She was right here beside the bed. Sir, I fear most gravely for your safety. I'm not afraid, Mr. Mahmoud. I have a mission to fulfill. More important to you than your life? I've already wasted too much time. I'm going. No, stay where you are. Take your hands off me. Let me up. I plead with you, do not leave this room. I have an appointment, and I'm going to keep it. And where is that? I'm not absolutely certain. All I know is that it's a place of darkness, midway between the deepest earth and highest heaven. To go. We are almost at the summit of the sacred mountain.
I must rest again. My head is so light, the air is so thin. Oh, we must be up 6,000-7,000 feet.
Do not stop. I will help. There. We have come to the summit, the very top of the mountains.
Everything is pitch black. There's not a star in the skies.
It is past midnight, and perhaps a storm comes.
You will stay here with me?
I led you here. I have not the slightest intention of leaving you.
Tell me, why have you brought me to the top of this mountain?
Because it is sacred to us. Here, sit down beside me on this flat rock. Oh, your hand. It is bleeding.
Oh, it's nothing. I scraped it on a rock as we were coming up.
I kiss your bleeding hand. The taste of your blood is exciting. Hold me in your arms. Tighter. into my eyes.
I can't. What's wrong? There's a pain in the back of my head. I can hardly see. My head is beginning to spin.
It is the height of the sacred mountain. You are not used.
Don't let me fall.
Of course not, my dear. For you. The very best of care.
I don't know what came over me. There was a stabbing at the base of my skull.
You are a fool. Why do you not return to your own country instead of playing this child's game?
Child's game?
That piece of pottery you have in your knapsack.
How do you know about that? I never told you.
Ask no questions. That piece of pottery will lead you nowhere. It is meaningless.
It won't be when I find the missing fragment.
And you think you will find it? Where?
A place of darkness.
Midway between the deepest earth and highest heaven? Yes? You fool. Where do you think you are? This mountain is 8,000 feet above the level of the sea. The top of this mountain is midway between the depths of the earth and the highest point we see in the heavens. Darkness? A place of darkness? Can you see your own bleeding hand in front of your face, you blundering fool?
How dare you talk to me that way?
You struck me. You dared to strike me. Look. See what you have done.
You're weeping.
You have made me weep. Bring your lantern to my face.
Tears are streaming down your cheeks. Tears of bright red blood. Now, let me get my handkerchief. I'll wipe the blood from your cheeks.
And what else do you see? My very good friend.
Your face. Your face is changing. You're becoming an ugly old woman with cracked skin. And your hair...
My beautiful, long black hair.
is turning into writhing, terrible snakes.
Their jaws are filled with poison, which they will spit at you. Hold me in your arms, as you did before.
No, I can't.
Caress my shining black hair.
These black hair, they're squirming serpents. They're spitting out their venom. You want me to die.
Dr. Oreste! Dr. Oreste! Are you here?
Over here?
Dr. Oreste, where are you? I never thought I would make it to the summit. Are you all right, good sir?
I think so. How did you know I was here?
I knew the danger. I followed you.
Where is she? Has she gone?
The girl, again.
I came close to losing my life. I think I would have if you hadn't come when you did.
Fortune has been kind this night. Now, after I catch my breath, we had best go back down. The dawn begins to lighten in the east. And, sir...
Yes, Mr. Mahmoud.
Would you like to take our little friend with you?
What friend? Where?
Lift your light a little higher. There, on that flat rock.
A beautiful little black lamb. I'll carry it down to the village. It just... Where is it? Where did it go? It disappeared.
Even as Dr. Oreste stretches out his hand, the black lamb melts into air, into thin air. But just as there is a faith that moves mountains, that makes all darkness light, Dr. Oresti continues to believe. He has faith that he can find the means of destroying Megera, goddess of vengeance, and with that, a beginning to a more harmonious existence for all men. I'll return shortly with Act 3. A philosopher of the Middle East has said that revenge is a luscious fruit, which, like the pomegranate or the persimmon, takes a long time to ripen. Once it comes to maturity, the taste is unmistakable, unique, and sometimes very sweet. Dr. Oresti and his companion are on top of a mountain in a far-off land. A strange girl has been with them and has vanished. Then, for an instant, there was a small black lamb. As suddenly as it materialized, so suddenly it disappeared. And then...
Look, Mr. Mahmoud. The lamb's back again. I don't understand. Where did it come from? Where did it go? Bring your light a little closer, sir. Right near its head. Oh, so do you see anything peculiar about this little lamb? Its eyes. It's as if blood had been dripping from its eyes. Like tears. Tears of blood. Are you telling me, Mr. Mahmoud, that this little animal... I tell you nothing, sir. She was here, Mr. Mahmoud. After a time we quarreled. She tasted my blood. She embraced me. And she tried to suffocate me. She grew old and horrible before my eyes. Her beautiful hair became poisonous snakes. Dr. Oresti, it has been a long and exhausting night for both of us. Shall we go down to the village and try to get some sleep? Not just yet. What are you doing? Put down that gun. I came almost 10,000 miles to do two things. To find the missing part of the Megera inscription, and I failed in that. And second, to destroy Megera if I could find her. Mr. Mahmoud, I have found her. You missed! The lamb is running away! Something wrong with this gun! Ah, too late, sir. It has escaped down the mountainside. Now, shall we go? Wait. Just a minute. Look! Right here where the lamb was lying. Put on your glasses and look. This broken fragment of pottery that the lamb was lying on. The same shape. The same colors. It has to be the rest of the Megera inscription. Oh, watch carefully where you place your feet, Dr. Oresti. These mountain paths can be most treacherous. Thank you, I'll be careful. How much farther do we have to go? Once we get past this huge boulder before us, we shall catch our first glimpse of the village. Mr. Mahmoud, don't move. What is it? There. On top of the boulder. A black lamb. The same one. Only this time I'll get it. Now you just watch. What's the matter with you? You fell right against me. I'm most sorry. My foot slipped. Yes, and I missed again. Dr. Oresti, look. Over there. But not another one. Still another black lamb? Yes. And see, another. And another. A whole flock of them. And every one of them jet black. They're heading toward us. They're going to push us right off this cliff. What do we do? Stand your ground. Let me try to take care of them. What's that? It sounds like the voices and wings of many birds. You're right. There are thousands of them. Flying straight toward us, toward our heads. Well, what are they? Crows, ravens? Blackbirds of some kind. They're coming in a straight line right at me. Go away, you filthy birds! Go away! Go away! You ugly thing! Away! Away! Another glass of hot mint tea, Doctor. Thank you.
You know, I can't thank you enough for getting me down off the mountain safely. I thought those crows, or whatever they were going to blind me.
They come sometimes. They think of other creatures as trespassers.
Yes. Now, let's get back to this shard of pottery.
Where did I put my spectacles? Ah, yes. Here they are.
You can see the two pieces fit together perfectly, as I suspected they would. The colors, the shape, the design, and the inscription, everything.
Extraordinary.
Now, if we can decipher it...
I leave that to you, sir.
Let's see, the first word looks like monoi, and then timoria, vengeance. Let's see now. Vengeance belongs... And then there's the other piece that fits in here that says to Magira. And then there's the word alone.
Vengeance belongs to Magira alone.
Now, follow the writing around the circumference. Tein, e, re, inain, se, e...
Something about peace.
Yes, peace. Peace will be found... No. Must be found in...
Yes, Dr. Aresti.
In the heart of man.
In the heart of man. You understand the meaning of what you hold in your hand?
Well, of course. That the place of darkness midway between the deepest earth and highest heaven is the heart of man. And that's the place where real peace must be looked for.
Most interesting.
There is no goddess of vengeance, and there never was. She existed, if she ever did, only in the minds of the stupid and the ignorant.
And now you will return to your own country, screaming to the world that there is no Magira. Is that correct, Dr. Aresti? Is that correct?
What are you doing? Put down that scimitar. Are you out of your mind?
You have disappointed me, Dr. Aresti. And more important, you have made me unhappy, most unhappy. It is not right for you to make me weep. It is wrong, Dr. Aresti, very wrong.
Mr. Mahmoud, you are weeping. Weeping tears of blood.
Of course, dear doctor. And now, would you like me to change my shape into a little black lamb, or an old and ugly hag with snakes for hair, or perhaps a beautiful young girl, or a flock of crows on the mountainside, and then back again to Mahmoud, this kindly, elderly merchant of curios? Name it. I shall become what you wish, when you wish it.
You are...
You see, Magira does exist. Now that you know that, this blade will make a fast end to you and your large secret. No!
You there! Police! Police, come! Come quick!
What is it, sir? How can I be of help?
I've just shot someone. Killed him, I think. In self-defense.
Who did you kill? How? Where?
Back there in the shop. The proprietor.
The proprietor? What shop?
Are you blind? The curio shop. I shot and killed the man who called himself Mahmoud bin Said.
Mahmoud bin Said? That's not possible.
Why not?
Mahmoud has been for more than 200 years.
What?
My grandfather used to speak of him, and his grandfather before him.
What on earth are you talking about?
Mahmoud, the mad one. He was said to live here on this very street of the Seven Silversmiths, behind a kind of curio shop. The tale goes that the poor man was completely out of his mind, poor fellow. The family line ended with his death.
And how? Just how did he meet his death?
Oh, the story is that his life was ended by a shot from a gun.
And who shot this Mahmoud?
most stranger. A man who for some reason was seeking revenge. Seeking revenge. Seeking revenge. Seeking revenge.
Seeking revenge. Seeking revenge.
Dr. Oresti. Doctor, how do you feel?
Who is that? Dorothy.
Don't try to move. You're going to be fine.
Well, I don't understand.
The earthquake. But it's all over now. Don't you remember?
Earthquake?
When you ducked into the shelter here, the big wooden beam over your head split and came right down on you.
Of course, I remember. I tried to get out of the way, but I couldn't.
No. You had me worried there for a bit. You were out cold for a good whole minute.
A minute? You mean all that happened in just 1 minute?
All what happened?
Well, thanks to that conk on the head, I've been off on a very fascinating trip. A voyage to nowhere.
Whatever that's supposed to mean. But tell me something, Doctor.
Yes?
That little thing you're wearing on a string.
Where?
Around your neck. Looks like the head of a little black lamb. I've never seen that before.
Well, neither have I. How do you suppose it got there?
We began this tale by saying that 5,000 years ago is just a minute ago, a blink of the eye to some men. To them, we said, the morning of the world is just a tick of the clock away. For Carlo Oresti, it took just that 1 minute to carry him back hundreds of years to another time, another place, and another world. I'll be back shortly. I have read that there are a good many far-off places where they still devoutly believe in things like a goddess of vengeance, who, to confuse the people, changes her appearance at will into any number of different shapes, even into several different forms at the same time. I'd love to see that for myself sometime. With one reservation. I'd like to get there by the usual means of transportation, and not by a zonk on the head. Our cast included Arnold Moss, Joan Lovejoy, Court Benson, and Evie Juster. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Did anyone examine you?
Well, an intern looked at me and asked me to wait, only I couldn't, you see.
Why not?
Well, because I had to find somebody. I didn't remember who or where to begin, except with this.
What is it?
Just a piece of paper, like from a phone pad with a number.
380. What do you think it means?
A room, maybe?
There's no such room number in this hospital.
Oh, I thought maybe it might be the old lady's.
What old lady?
I don't know.
What was the old lady's name?
I don't know.
What is your name, miss?
But that's the whole trouble, don't you see? I don't know that either.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... I'm E.G. Marshall. What is terror? It's really only a word, unless you've experienced it. And once you've experienced it, there's no word for it. It defies description. There are all forms of terror. Extreme fear of physical injury, for one. Paralyzing fear of insupportable pain, physical or mental. Mental. This, I'm told, can be the most horrifying form of terror of them all.
You're trying to terrify me, Mr. Stainer.
Terrify? Miss Meade, you've got me all wrong. We here at the Bureau of Human Affairs don't terrify people.
Then why don't you tell me what it is you want to know?
Why don't you tell me? After all, you're the one who knows.
But I know nothing. That's what's terrifying. You want me to tell you something, but I don't know what it is.
But you do. You simply haven't thought about it enough.
I have thought and thought.
No, you only think you've thought. Go home now. Go home, Miss Meade. And think some more.
Our mystery drama, A Small Question of Terror, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Terry Keane. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Uncle Ben's Long Grain and Wild Rice. I'll be back shortly with Act One. As I said at the outset, terror can take many forms, disguises. Consider the case of Alexis Meade, a young woman, intelligent, attractive, occupation, sales clerk, engaged to be married, lives with her widowed mother, Emily, whom she supports. The place? An apartment in, a city. A city in, a country. Time? Could be today, could be tomorrow. Not important. What's important is, it happened. And it could happen again.
But, Mother, what does the Bureau of Human Affairs want with me? What could this... What's his name? Where's the letter? Oh, here it is. Gilbert Stainer. What could he possibly want with me?
Well, now, if you ask me, Alexis, it's probably nothing at all. Some little unimportant matter about, I don't know. Nothing to get upset about, dear.
Mother, this is from the Bureau of Human Affairs, which is just a cover for the secret police. And this man Stainer is titled here under the signature. He's director of interrogation. In heaven's name, what could he want to interrogate me about?
Well, I can't imagine. I really can't. Unless you did something you shouldn't have done. Did you, Alexis? Like, I don't know, complain to someone, maybe at the office, that we haven't enough to eat? That the protector, our glorious protector, has called for austerity measures?
Mother, please, stop running on.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I do talk too much. I know.
Mother, you didn't complain about something. Anything? Did you?
Me? Complain?
Say anything that somebody might have reported.
Oh, no, really, Alexis. I do talk too much. I do, I know. But, my dear, you know better than to ask me that. Well, you know better than to even think I'd be foolish enough to say anything critical of our protector or the government or anything.
Mother.
Sorry, dear. The letter gives no reason why this Mr. Sturmer wants to see you.
Stainer. No. It just says I'm to appear at his office Monday at 3 p.m.
Well, you'll find out then what it is he wants when you get there.
That's 4 days from now, Mother. I've got to wait and worry for 4 solid days, to say nothing of nights.
Worry? Oh, my dear, I certainly wouldn't worry.
Mother, some people who have gone into the Human Affairs building, in fact, a good many people, have never been seen or heard of again.
Oh, I've heard that.
Well, you can believe it. Oh, I'll get it. Hello?
Eric, honey.
Oh, Eric. How are you, darling?
Well, I'm not sure. I just got home and found a letter waiting for me from the Bureau of Human Affairs.
You too?
What? You?
Yes. I'm ordered to appear at 3 o'clock next Monday.
I've been told to be there at 2.
Who signed your letter?
Somebody named Stainer. Gilbert Stainer. What do you suppose this is all about?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew now instead of having to wait until Monday.
Yeah, me too. It kind of worries me, Alexis.
It scares me, Eric. It scares me half to death.
Yes?
My name is Alexis Meade, and I...
Oh, yes. You're here to see Mr. Stainer at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
You're early.
Oh, I was afraid of being late.
Afraid? What would you be afraid of, Miss Meade?
Well, I didn't mean afraid, exactly.
But that's what you said. There's nothing to be afraid of, Miss Meade, if you have nothing to fear.
I haven't.
Well, then.
Eric.
Alexis.
What did he want? Stainer, what did he ask you?
You're next, Miss Meade.
I'll see you later, Alexis.
Come to dinner tonight?
Okay.
Miss Meade is here, Mr. Stainer.
Thank you, Miss Peters. Do come in, Miss Meade.
Thank you.
And sit down, please. That chair in front of my desk. Well, now, Miss Meade, first let me say I'm sorry if you've been put to any inconvenience.
Oh, no.
But you did have to take off from your job early. I'm told you'll lose 2 hours' pay.
Who told you?
It's so, isn't it?
Well, yes, but...
The Bureau will see that you're reimbursed for any loss of pay you incurred today, or may incur in the future.
The future? I'll be coming here again?
That'll depend entirely on you. How is your mother?
My mother is fine, thank you, fine.
That arthritis flare-up she suffered last week, that's over with?
Yes.
Delighted to hear it. A cup of coffee?
No, thank you, Mr. Stainer. I'd like to know why...
A cigarette?
Thank you, I don't smoke.
Oh, that's right. You gave up cigarettes several months ago. Too expensive. What with the tax, the surtax and all, I believe you said.
I don't recall saying anything like that.
No?
No.
But that is why you quit.
Yes. Mr. Stainer, you certainly didn't ask me here to discuss my reasons for giving up smoking.
No, goodness me, no.
Then why am I here?
It could be that I just like to talk and look at pretty women.
I beg your pardon.
A little joke. Although you are extremely attractive, you know.
Thank you.
Well, now, I asked you to come here today because...
Because?
I thought there might be something you cared to tell me.
Something I cared to tell you?
Something you might care to tell me.
Such as?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, I'm sure I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what could I know? If you could give me some idea of what it is you're after...
I'm not after anything, Miss Meade. The way you put it, what is it you're after, you make it sound as if I'm pursuing you, trying to hound
No, I didn't mean it that way.
No, of course you didn't. Well?
Well?
Is there something you might care to tell the Bureau? Tell me?
I can't think of anything, Mr. Stainer.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
Perhaps if you gave it some thought.
What thought? How can I think about something when I don't know what to think about?
It will come to you. Think about it long enough and it'll come. It might be in the morning when you're at work, or during mealtime, or in the middle of the night in bed. You'll suddenly say to yourself, that's it. That's what I had to tell the Bureau.
Mr. Stainer, I'm sorry, but I can't imagine...
You'll see. Now, you just go away and think about it a while, and you'll see. Let me escort you to the door.
Mr. Stainer, please, I assure you, believe me, there is nothing I know of or can think of. Your hand, Mr. Stainer.
Oh, sorry. Your coat. I was only admiring the cloth. I like the feel of cloth like this. So soft. So pleasurable to the touch. Soft as a woman's skin.
Good day, Mr. Stainer.
Good day, Miss Meade. Do some thinking now. See what you can come up with before our next meeting.
Before our next meeting. The last thing he said just as I left.
Oh, stop worrying and eat your dinner, Alexis. What there is of it. And you, Eric?
Those were his last words to me, too. That means he's going to call us in again.
Obviously.
Have my meat, Alexis.
Mother, no. No. You finish the meat. I don't want any more.
You don't want any more because you think I haven't had enough.
Well, you haven't. None of us has. None of us ever does.
Everything's in short supply.
Oh, and the prices. I was saying to Maggie Norton only the other day. I met her in the supermarket. You know, we hadn't seen each other in months.
You didn't say anything to Maggie. Anything that might be misconstrued.
What?
Anything she could have reported to the Bureau of Human Affairs.
Now, what do you take me for, Alexis?
I'm only trying to find out, searching for whatever it is Stainer knows.
But didn't he say he doesn't know?
Mother, he knows. Eric and I wouldn't have been ordered to appear if he didn't know. He's just playing cat and mouse. That's what he's doing. He's trying to get us to confess to something.
Well, confess to what? I'm telling you, I'm so on edge even now, even after just one meeting with him. I'd tell him what he wants to know, if I knew what it is.
Eric, are you sure you don't?
Don't know?
Yes.
I don't get you, Alexis.
Could it be that you maybe said something, sometime, to someone that might have been better left unsaid?
You think I'm some kind of nut?
Of course not, but...
But what?
Don't be so touchy, Eric. You could have said something. I could. Mother could.
Not a word. Not a word.
I'm no fool, Alexis. Not me. You just don't know who you can trust anymore. I guess there wouldn't be any more coffee, Mrs. Meade, would there?
Maybe a few drops, Eric. Give me your cup.
Well, something has been said, and if we're smart...
Here you are, Eric.
We'll find out what it was. Because one thing is sure. What happened with Mr. Gilbert Stainer today is only the beginning.
Yeah. I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
What do you mean?
Nothing, Mother.
Well,
oh, Mother, please. Now, don't start crying.
That's what you mean. Even maybe death. Oh, why has it got so you're afraid to say, have a good day to someone or keep well or anything? Well, I said to Maggie Norton, we hadn't seen each other in months, and we were talking about the scarcities and the high prices, and she said not to worry because the protector would take care of things eventually. And I said, I could have bit my tongue. I said, you know, joking. I said, someday he'll protect us to death.
And Eric, you dropped your cup.
I'm sorry.
Mother, you didn't say that to Maggie Norton.
Oh, I could have bit my tongue.
But I told you. You said it to me once, and I told you then to never say it again. Eric, what is it?
It's nothing.
Why did you drop the cup? Was it what Mother just said?
No, honestly.
Is that what Stainer is after? Is it?
Well, how do I know what Stainer is after?
You do know. What Mother said about the protector protecting us to death. Is that it? Eric, for heaven's sake, tell me. I can't stand not knowing. I can't stand it.
So, terror, like a stain, is already spreading through Alexis Meade. To know the truth will be bad, but not knowing is even worse. As Gilbert Stainer is well aware, a human being can face what he knows, but fear of the unknown is the most corrosive destroyer of the human spirit yet discovered. I'll return shortly with Act 2. A small question. A simple, seemingly innocent question. Is there anything you'd care to tell me? A small, simple question? Yes, but one fraught with terror for those who are asked by Gilbert Stainer of the Bureau of Human Affairs, for Alexis Meade, of whom he has asked it. In the apartment she shares with her mother, Alexis faces her fiancé, Eric, and cries.
Eric, you know. You do know. For heaven's sake, tell me. I can't stand not knowing.
All right. I'll tell you. I didn't want to. I was afraid it would make things worse for you.
Eric, tell me.
This afternoon, Stainer asked me if I had ever heard anyone make that remark about the protector. Well, of course, I lied. I said no.
You had heard it. Where? Who said it?
Well, honey, you did.
I?
Don't you remember? We were sitting in the park, and you said, well, I don't remember the exact words, but something like, Mother said the funniest thing today. Could be a dangerous thing if she ever repeated it, and I warned her not to, but you just had to tell me, you said. And you told me. You don't remember?
Yes. I'd forgotten about it. It didn't seem important then. There was no one around. No one could have overheard. Was there?
I don't remember. You know, we had a little laugh over it, and then I guess we both forgot it.
And he did ask you, Stainer.
If I'd ever heard that remark made by someone. And like I said no.
Well, is it such a terrible thing to say? I said it as a joke. You said it as a joke.
Mother, the trouble is the world we live in is no joke. I meant nothing, you meant nothing when you said what you said about protecting us to death. That they can take a thing like that and build it, and build it.
Alexis.
I'm sorry. So that's what he's after. He wants me to say, perhaps you mean a remark my mother once made about the protector protecting us to death.
Would they torture me then? Kill me?
They'll never torture you, Mother, because they're never going to find out. Eric didn't tell Stainer where he'd heard it. And I'll certainly never tell him.
Under torture?
Not under the worst torture they can think of.
Eric?
Don't worry, Mrs. Meade. They'll get nothing out of me. I promise you that.
Oh, thank you, Eric, thank you. I'll make a little more coffee. Not much, but we can have a little.
Eric?
Yes?
Keep that promise. My mother, she's old and she's sick. And I love her. Keep your promise, Eric.
Well, don't stand there staring at me as if you'd seen a ghost, Miss Meade. Sit down. Is there something wrong?
I was asked to come and see Mr. Stainer again. I didn't expect to find you behind his desk, Miss... Or is it Mrs.?
Miss Peters. Miss Peters. Mr. Stainer was called away unexpectedly. I'm taking over for him temporarily. I am his assistant, you know.
I didn't know.
Yes. And perhaps it's just as well, his being needed elsewhere at the moment. He himself he mentioned, that you might speak more openly to me. You know, woman to woman.
Miss Peters, let's get something straight. I didn't know then, and I don't know now what it is he wanted me to tell him.
But of course you do.
I do not. Oh, my... What was that?
What was what?
That scream.
Scream? You heard a scream.
You know I heard a scream. It came from the torture chambers in the cellar.
Now, don't tell me you believe the stories you've heard, Miss Meade. You know about the hideous tortures that go on in this place. Oh, we are not in the habit of torturing people here. Now, don't look so frightened, my dear. My goodness, the color has drained out of your face. Here, let me...
Ow! What are you doing?
My dear, I'm sorry. Did I hurt you? I only pinched your cheeks. Just a little to bring the color back. Oh, I am sorry if I hurt you. I didn't really, did I?
No.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. My good heavens, I wouldn't hurt you for the world, my dear. None of us would. Gilbert Stainer, there isn't a gentler, more sympathetic man on this earth. Any woman will tell you that. Any woman who gets to know him, that is.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure.
You'll see when you get to know him better. But he is a man, you know. By that I mean he can be, well, brutal, too. He has that other side to him. A side that shows when he, well, you might say, loses patience. Take a tip from me, Alexis. Don't make Gilbert lose his patience.
Thank you for the advice.
What is it now, Alexis?
You know what it is. That scream.
You're letting your imagination run away with you. And don't you start imagining things like frightful tortures and slow deaths. All you have to do, my dear, is tell us if there's anything you would care to tell us.
If you would tell me what it is you want to know.
But how could we know what it is you'd care to tell us?
Oh, this is impossible. This is just plain simply impossible.
No, you're tired, my dear. And those screams you thought you heard are still bothering you. I tell you what. You go home and think things over.
I don't have to.
But you do. Gilbert and I have been through this many times before, Alexis. Believe me, we have. And always, people come back and say, is this what you wanted to know? And it always is. You'll remember. I know you will. You'll remember.
Eric, are you home? Eric! What took you so long?
I was
KFH.
Asleep for 3 days and nights?
The music
I telephoned you again and again. You haven't come to see me?
Nothing. I've been very busy. Tied up.
Is that why you're limping?
Well, I hurt my back.
You did? Or they did?
They?
You know who I mean. He had you tortured, didn't he? Stainer.
What gave you that idea?
The way you're limping and your jaw still swollen. Eric.
They tortured me.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, my darling, my poor
Don't,
darling.
Alexis, don't.
What?
Don't touch me. Don't even come near me. Oh, my God.
Eric, darling, what?
I told them. I couldn't help myself. The pain. Impossible not to tell. Not to scream it out as loud as I could.
What? What did you tell them?
You know.
Tell me anyhow. I must be sure.
I told them, yes, I'd heard someone make that remark. Our protector will protect us to death. And then I told them, Alexis, forgive me. Forgive me. I told them it was you.
It's all right. It's going to be all right. The first thing we must do is keep our heads, not panic.
But you don't understand. I'm in no danger. You are. I saved my own neck by sacrificing yours.
Don't you realize you're in as much danger as I?
How can I be?
You are involved now. You're an accessory to the crime.
Crime? What crime? A harmless remark?
Eric, don't you understand? It's what the Stainers of this world feed on, turning the innocent into the guilty. It's their business. It's what they live for.
But what can we do?
The first thing I must do is protect Mother. Or did you tell them that, too? That Mother was the first to...
No.
All right, then at least she's safe. But they'll question me again now, and torture is more than likely.
Oh, what I've let you in for. I could kill myself.
None of that now. We've got to keep our heads. Think. Let me see. Luke Stevens.
Luke Stevens. What about him?
That place of his in the mountains. It's not too far from the border.
What are you talking about, the border?
We've got to escape, leave the country. There's no other way. Now, if we could get to Luke's place, we could hide there for a few days, then slip over the border.
Oh, that's impossible. I'm being watched now. You're being watched. We must be.
I'm sure of it, but we've got to try. We can't be any worse off than we are now, so listen to me.
Yes.
I'm going to go home. I will get Mother. In an hour, let's say an hour, you go down, get in your car, and drive to that favorite spot of ours in the park. Mother and I will meet you there, and then We'll get in your car and head for Luke's place in the mountains.
But if we're being watched...
We'll have to take the only chance we've got. Try to give them the slip.
Not much chance of that.
No. But it is the only chance we've got.
I don't understand, Alexis. Why suddenly do you want to go for a walk in the park? I don't feel like going for a walk.
Mother, please don't argue. I want to go for a walk, and I want you to come with me.
Well, you're acting very strangely, Alexis. And here, what are you stuffing in your handbag?
Mother, please.
Toothbrushes? Half a candy bar? The candy we've been saving for a special treat? Alexis, what is this?
I will tell you later.
You tell me now, or I will not step 1 foot out of this apartment.
Mother, please trust me.
Oh, my goodness, it seems we have visitors.
Yes, I'm afraid we do. Yes?
Are you Alexis Meade?
Yes?
Is that your mother there?
Yes.
Both of you to come with me, please.
Where? And why are we to come with you?
I can't answer that.
You don't have to. I know where. And why.
Alexis Meade fights the terror that tries to surge through her as she and her mother go with the agent from the secret police. To what? Torture? Death? We'll find out when I return shortly with Act 3. An innocent remark has brought Alexis Meade, her mother, and her fiancé Eric to the brink of torture and possible death. Eric, breaking under the torture's exquisite pain, revealed he'd heard the remark from Alexis. But Alexis has not yet divulged that her mother, Emily, first made the remark to her. Not yet. Now, as all three sit and wait in a small room at the Bureau of Human Affairs, a fourth presence waits with them. An invisible but palpable presence whose name is Terror.
2 hours. They've kept us waiting 2 hours. Why? Why?
For the same reason they picked you up and brought you here with Mother and me. So we could break each other down with our personal fears and tensions.
Alexis, I want you to be honest with me. All this, it's because of that remark, that silly, joking remark I made.
No.
I'm sure it is. What else could it be?
I don't know what remark you're talking about, Mother. You never made any remark to me that I know of.
Did. The one about the problem, Alexis. You've gone crazy. What are you doing to me?
I am trying to silence you, Mother. But I might have known that's impossible.
Room could be bugged.
Bugs? Bugs? Hidden microphones, Mother. Now, please don't say another word.
You, come with me.
Me? Where are you taking her?
Come along.
But I...
No.
I... Wait a minute, please. My mother is old. She's old and she's sick. Wait, please, wait. Eric. Oh, God, what are they going to do to her?
I don't like to think.
I can't stand it. Not to know what they're going to do to her. They're doing this to break me down. They know what my mother means to me. They're using fear, my fear, of what they may do to her to break me.
You can't be sure of that.
You, this way.
What for?
Just come along, please.
They're going to torture me again. I won't be able to stand it. Alexis!
Come along now.
Alexis! Alexis!
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Yes. Yes, God. Oh, I go on my knees and I beg you to help me. I've never asked help of you in the past, but I need you now. Be with me, I beg you. If there's a way out, a way to escape, show it to me, not for my sake, but theirs, Mother's and Eric's. I'm not begging for myself, but for them, because I love them.
Why, Miss Meade, what on earth are you doing on your knees?
I'm praying, Miss Peters.
Oh, come now. You don't really believe in God, do you?
I don't know.
Come along. Gilbert, Mr.
Stainer is ready to see you now.
I've told him all I know.
Which was that you knew nothing. A lie, of course, but never mind. He has something to tell you.
What?
Come along, my dear. Find out for yourself.
Sit down, Miss Meade. Alexis, if I may. Sit down. No, don't leave us, Miss Peters. Alexis won't mind if you stay, I'm sure. We're all friends by this time. Though you certainly don't look very friendly, Alexis.
Mr. Stainer.
Gilbert, please. I do want to be your friend, Alexis. I've wanted to be from the first. And I must say that I'm puzzled by your attitude. You have nothing to gain by being unfriendly toward me, and much to gain by being otherwise. And Miss Peters will tell you that.
It's true, Alexis.
I know that once Alexis realizes I want to be her friend, she'll be amenable to my wishes. You will now, won't you, Alexis?
That depends, Mr. Stainer.
Gilbert?
Mr. Stainer, that depends on your wishes.
My only wish at the moment is for you to tell me the truth.
About what?
When I first asked you here, I made clear to you that I simply wanted you to tell me anything you thought the Bureau ought to know.
And I made it clear to you that I knew of nothing, could think of nothing.
But of course you know now that you were wrong.
I know nothing of the sort.
Very well, Alexis. Miss Meade, I'll be plain with you. I first ordered you to come and see me because I'd learned of a remark that had been made. A treasonous remark. When I asked you to tell me about it, you denied all knowledge of it.
You never asked me about a treasonous remark. You asked me if there was anything I cared to tell you.
Certainly a treasonous remark, a remark punishable by death, my dear, slow death, as you know, would be something you cared to tell.
If I'd known about the remark, I didn't, and I don't.
Curious. After all, you made it.
I made it?
Your fiancé, Eric, didn't tell you when you visited him late this afternoon? I can have him brought here to this office in minutes. He didn't tell you?
He said something about my having said something about our protector.
And what did you say about our protector?
It was said jokingly. I meant nothing by it.
Perhaps, but what did you say?
I said, if things kept on, our protector would protect us to death.
Well, at last, Peters, she has admitted it.
Well, of course, we knew she would, Gilbert. You never fail. You always have a way with women.
Thank you. So then, Miss Meade, you admit you said this to your fiancé?
Yes.
Knowing that treason is punishable by death?
I told you it was said as a joke.
A joke. Unfortunately, I fail to see the joke. If there is something funny in the thought that our protector will protect us to death, no, I simply don't see it. Perhaps you'd explain it, Miss Meade.
If it has to be explained.
Yes?
Jokes can't be explained. I've admitted I said it. What more do you want?
What more?
If I'm guilty of treason, I'm guilty of treason. Then torture me, kill me. But let my mother and Eric go.
Happily, if it's possible. If it's at all possible, after you tell me who first made the remark to you. Who?
No one.
There was someone.
There was no one.
We know there was someone. Who was it?
If you know, why do you ask me?
Oh, first we're unfriendly, now we're arrogant.
I'm not being arrogant.
You are what I say you are. Now let me tell you something, my independent, arrogant little wench. And you will be my wench before I'm through with you. Now, you can make it easy on yourself or hard. Which shall it be? The easy way is to admit to me here and now who made the remark to you. The hard way, I shall simply hand you over to Miss Peters. Well, the easy way, the hard way, which?
The easy way.
You're being wise. Now, who said to you, our protector will protect us to death? Well, who?
You want me to tell you in front of Miss Peters?
What?
You don't, do you?
Why shouldn't you?
Oh, I guess I've said the wrong thing.
What wrong thing? What are you saying?
Oh, Gilbert. Gilbert, darling, I can't tell you with her here.
What the devil is she saying?
What the devil is she saying, Gilbert?
I don't know. I don't know.
What, Miss Meade?
I can't tell you that. Gilbert, please ask her to leave.
Ask her to... Oh, I see. I see. A little game. You're trying some little game. You're trying to suggest in front of Miss Peters, trying to suggest that somehow, in some way, there's something between us, between you and me.
No. There's nothing between you and me. Nothing.
One moment. If there is something...
There's nothing.
There is nothing. Now, don't look at me like that, Peters. There is nothing. Now, you answer me. In front of Peters, answer me. Who said it to you first? Who?
All right, Gilbert. I see you trust Miss Peters, though I certainly wouldn't. Not if she was my assistant. I mean, not with all the suspicion, the mistrust, the doubt we all live with these days. Why, she could have your job 10 minutes after you were executed. She'd snap it up, too. You know that.
For the last time, who told you?
Well, if you insist. You did, of course.
I?
Gilbert, have you forgotten that night? Oh, that first night together, that gloriously rapturous night.
What in the name?
Of course, I know you were, you weren't drunk, but you talked a little too much, maybe. Said some things you'd not have said if...
No, she's lying, Peters. I swear she's lying.
If you say so, I suppose she is, but...
But what?
It's well known, Gilbert, Mr. Stainer, that you have a way with women.
Not this woman. Not this little conniving trollop. Believe me, Peters. Now believe me.
I believe you, Mr. Stainer.
And I'm sure our protector will, too.
What do you mean, our protector will?
He'll believe that everything I say in my letter is a lie. Nothing but a lie.
Say what's in your letter? What letter?
Gilbert, darling, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But we do live in an age of terrible mistrust and suspicion, and, a girl has to protect herself, and so I wrote a letter to our protector telling him all about us.
There is nothing to tell about us. If you said there was, you lied. You lied!
No, darling, but let's hope he thinks so.
When did you send this letter?
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't send it?
Gilbert, of course not. Would I want any harm to come to you after what we've been to each other? Weeks of torture? Slow death? Would I want that for you?
Where is this letter?
I have it. A friend of mine has it.
What friend?
Gilbert, if I told you that... Oh, of course I can't. But you needn't worry about it. My friend won't send it unless something happens to me.
Unless... A shrewd little wench, Peters. A very shrewd little wench. There is nothing between us. And there is no letter, I'm sure of that.
Are you, Mr. Stainer?
Of course. Of course. Still, this has all been... It's crossed my mind more than once. A tempest in a teapot, mountains out of molehills. The remark that was made, we've taken it too seriously.
We?
Well, you. Well, I, then. Well, No harm done. None. You may go, Miss Meade.
And my mother? And my fiancé?
They can go, too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But I want a safe conduct out of the country.
A safe conduct?
For all three of us. My mother, my fiancé, and myself.
I have it. I'll see it's arranged. Good day. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, and to you, Miss Peters. I think I said to you a little earlier. I think I said I didn't know whether I believed in God or not. Yes. I believe in him now, Miss Peters. I believe in him now.
I don't recall Alexis writing a letter, do you? Could have, though. Not important. I mean, whether there was a letter or wasn't. What strikes me as important is that she called on God for help, only in extremity. Seems to me we all of us make that same mistake. Sure, call on him when you need help, but call on him when you don't need anything. Just call. Doors always open, 24 hours a day. I'll be back shortly. All is well. Alexis and Eric are married now, living contented lives in this country. Alexis' mother's well, too. Talking a blue streak as always. There's a difference, though. In this country, she can say what she wants to say, and does, without worrying about it. Our cast included Terry Keane, Gordon Gould, Joan Shea, and Leon Janney. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
I stepped out just before sunset, choosing my footing carefully, watching the setting sun and thinking of Anne. And suddenly, yes, standing in front of me, beyond the battlements in midair, was the figure of Alfred Monckton, faintly luminous, as he stands behind you now. Was this before the news of the duel reached Wincott? 2 weeks? I didn't know the date of it then as I do now. It was March 14th. The same day as I stood on the battlement. The very moment the bullet entered his side and killed him.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Uncle Ben's Long Grain and Wild Rice and Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall, your pilot on a mysterious cruise through the uncharted seas of your very own imagination. Vengeance is mine, I shall repay, saith the Lord. From this, we must assume that revenge belongs to him and to him alone, and that should end the matter, shouldn't it? But so many times, so many of us are so outraged by the painful fact that wrongdoers simply seem to get away with murder. Well, don't bet on it. After all, if the Lord says he will repay, he is good for the debt. And if he chooses to make it a long-term note, he has plenty of time. All of eternity.
Rosa, look there. The car, it's out of control. Rosa, hurry. Maybe we can help these people.
Leno, are they... Oh, no.
There's nothing I can do for them.
Oh, are you sure?
I'm sure. The impact of the crash, death was immediate.
It's the Koenigs.
The Konigs.
The people I told you about. The ones who have the papers and a visa to go to the United States.
Oh.
Poor souls. They waited so long to get on the quota.
Rosa, you say they have papers? Well, then, why don't we...
No, Benno.
But how else? How else we'd be able to get to America?
Benno, I don't think it's the right thing.
Who'll ever know? Who'll ever care? Here, help me. We'll take their papers.
But it's stealing.
Stealing? They can't use them anymore. They have better papers now. A passport to heaven. They won't mind if we use their visa to get to the next best place.
Our mystery drama, The Shadow of the Past, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Howard Da Silva. The neighborhood is old, run down. The buildings are crumbling and grimy. The neighborhood used to be a ghetto, a procession of many ghettos, as succeeding waves of immigrant nationalities paused here before moving on to the full promise of America. Now the neighborhood, strictly speaking, is no longer a ghetto. Some would call it a slum. Whatever. It still teems and pulses with closely packed humanity. It is still a melting pot, a crucible, a place for dreams and despair. Men and women throng the streets, move in and out of dingy shops, chat animatedly on the sidewalks, on the steps, from the windows. Little kids play jacks, hopscotch, hump rope. The older ones play stickball in the gutter, dodging the automobiles. That wiry kid at bat right now looks like he could hit that ball 3 sewers at least. See that swing, and there it goes. That ball must be at least 6 stories high. He'll pretty near make the end of the block. But watch the kid in the red shirt go after it. Look out for those people, red shirt. That fat man, the one with the briefcase in one hand and the notebook in the other. Look out! You'll run into him.
I got it! He's out! He's out! The bomb! He's out!
Oh, my eye! Oh, my eye! I can't see! What have you done to me? I'm blind!
Hey, I didn't do it on purpose.
Hoodlum! You could have killed me! Call an ambulance! I'm bleeding! Police!
Well, wait a minute. You don't need an ambulance. You can walk right in and see Doc. You're right outside the doctor's
Get
office.
your hands off me. I'm just going into jail.
Yeah, sure. But first get that eye fixed, huh? Now, come on. Just up the steps right here. That's it. Hey, Pancho, you guys saved me my liquid fat, huh? That's it. Now, through the hall.
I'll teach you to attack law-abiding citizens on the street.
Okay, here we go. Now, ring the bell and walk in. Hey there, Mrs. Koenig.
Oh, my. What is this, Joseph?
I ran into him and banged up his eyes. Is that Koenig?
I'm blind. I'm going blind.
No. Everything will be all right.
Mister, I leave you in the best hands.
Let me help you. This way. The doctor will see you immediately. Benno?
No, bring him in, Rosa. Now, just sit down there.
I'll answer it outside in the office.
Well, now let me look at the eye. I'm blind. No. Nothing like that. Here, let me wash it out first. Then we can see what we have. I know it does sting, just a little bit. Did someone hit you?
Hoodlum. One of those gangsters playing ball in the street.
It's really quite superficial.
Superficial? To who? To you? You don't feel it?
I don't even think you'll have a black eye. I promise you. Now just relax. You don't live around here, do you?
Me? Live in this pigsty. I just collect the rents.
Well, it's hardly a pigsty. Mostly poor, hard-working people.
Lazy, shiftless bums.
I think I'd better put a dressing on.
You're a good doctor.
Really? How can you tell?
Hands. You've got good hands. Sure. Swift. Light. Why do you waste yourself in this godforsaken neighborhood?
I don't think God ever forsakes any neighborhood. Yes, that looks all right. It'll get better soon.
Good. How much I owe you?
Nothing.
How do you expect to get rich if you charge nothing?
Have we met before somewhere?
No. I don't believe I had that pleasure.
Your face is familiar. And your voice.
Oh, you know what they say. They say everybody looks exactly like another person someplace in the world. Everybody has a double.
Perhaps.
And somewhere along the line, you must have met my double.
It's possible.
What kind of fellow was he, this double of mine? A fine figure of a man, I hope?
No, he was the scum of the earth.
That's funny. That's very funny.
The face. The voice. And now the laugh. Meyer. You are Karl-Heinz Meyer, Commandant of the Oberdorn concentration camp.
That's a lie.
Is it? You don't remember me, Meyer? Why should you remember me? I was merely one of tens, hundreds of thousands. But I was a doctor, and I was useful, and so I lasted longer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You thought I went up in smoke like all the others, but I didn't.
You're making a mistake.
You don't remember Sternberg? Dr. Benno Sternberg? Here, allow me to roll up my sleeve and present my credentials. Here, you can read the number you personally inscribed on my arm.
What can you do? That's right. What can you do? Nothing. No one has anything against me anymore. I was clear. You know yourself, all I did was obey orders. Place yourself in my position. I had a wife. I had a baby. What else could I do? I only obeyed orders and did what I was told. That's why I was acquitted. That's why I'm free.
Karl-Heinz Meyer. How I dreamed of this moment.
No, it's over. Now, listen, Benno. Whatever it was, it's over. It's gone, forgotten. It's a past.
And now that the impossible moment has arrived, all I want to say is, get out.
The past is...
Get out before I disgrace myself in the eyes of God.
No, wait. You are Benno Sternberg, huh? But why have you taken the name Koenig?
Get out before I throw you out.
Why have you taken the name Koenig? Are you in hiding?
I said to get out.
Or perhaps you are not in this country legally? That touched the nerve, didn't it? Is it true? Have I guessed it? You didn't really expect to fool your old camp commandant now, did you? Well, say something. Oh, still the same stubborn swine, huh, Benno? So you are here illegally. Don't be afraid. Oh, I shall not betray you. Well, shouldn't you be grateful? Shouldn't you make it worth my while to keep my mouth shut? Oh, say, I remember you had a wife. She was a pretty little thing. Oh, yes, indeed, I do remember.
You dog, you nothing do!
What did you do that?
Oh, Benno, there's a patient outside.
Close the door.
What?
Come in, close the door.
Benno, what happened to him? What do you mean dead? Why?
I killed him.
What are you saying?
I drove a pair of scissors through his heart.
No.
You didn't recognize him when he came in, did you, Rosa?
Recognize him?
Meyer. Karl-Heinz Meyer. Do you remember?
You had no right to kill him.
I don't know what happened. Something. I looked at his face and I heard his voice. And suddenly, he became all their voices and all their boots and their bludgeons and their pistols and their faces. And there was the barbed wire, the stone walls, the screams, the smoke. All of us heard it together. To be beaten, tortured, murdered.
And now, Benno, are you better than he is? You are a murderer, too.
Rosa, the beast, he knew at once. He knew at once I was here illegally. At our age, to be homeless again.
Homelessness is nothing new for us, Benno. But murder? No, you had no right to kill him.
I know I had no right to kill him. But I did, and he...
You must call the police.
And go to prison? Is that what I must do now? At my age?
But the law says...
Laws are made by politicians.
Not this law, Benno. This law was made by God.
I know. And this law is broken every day, everywhere, by hundreds, thousands of people. And he doesn't seem to be too upset about it.
Oh, Benno, what are you saying?
I am saying I will not give up my life for Karl-Heinz Meyer. I need your help, Rosa. I need your help.
Oh, yes, Benno. I will help you. Benno.
Yes?
Benno.
What is it?
It begins.
What begins?
The business with the police.
Rosa, what are you talking about?
There is a policeman in the office.
What does he want?
He says he wants to talk to you.
All right. He probably wants to ask me about Meyer.
Oh, no. He's here to arrest you.
Why?
Because you killed Meyer.
Rosa, they don't know that. They can't know that.
Why did you have to kill him? Why?
I can't bring him back, Rosa. Now I'll see this police officer. You wish to see me? I'm Dr. Koenig.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm Lieutenant Smith.
Yes?
I appreciate your time, Doctor. This morning, the body of a man named Charles Meyer was found in an alleyway in back of this building.
Yes, I heard about it. On the radio.
Late yesterday afternoon, he was involved in a street accident outside. He was brought in here for treatment.
His eye had been injured.
Severely?
Oh, quite superficially, but painful.
When did he leave here?
When? Oh, he was here for about 10 minutes, I suppose.
And then he left?
Yes.
Were you acquainted with this Mr. Meyer?
No.
And when he left your office, that was the last you saw of him?
Yes.
Well, now that's all, Dr. Koenig. Sorry I took up your time.
That's all?
That's all. Thank you. Goodbye.
Lieutenant.
Yes, Doctor?
Do the police have any idea as to why he was murdered?
Oh, well, that's open and shut. He had about $2,000 in rent collection money. Some local hoodlum was probably waiting for him. This can be a dangerous neighborhood. Well, goodbye, Doctor. Funny.
Benno, I'm frightened.
What?
That police officer, he's a quiet man, but he's a clever man. He suspects you.
Pull yourself together, Rosa. There's nothing to be afraid of. You heard what he said. It was robbery, that's all.
Is that all?
No, Rosa.
Can we live with it, Benno?
Yes, Rosa. We can live with it.
Benno will have to fight the habits and the personal morality of a lifetime. But if history teaches us anything at all, it is that man is adaptable. We'll see how well the good doctor adapts to his new role in just a few moments when I return with Act 2. The days, the months, the years go by. Time is the great healer. The ugliest wounds close finally. And after a while, even the deepest pain subsides. And life goes on. It finds a new channel, a new purpose. The past is forgotten. Until one day, a door opens and an evil presence enters the room. And once again, the past, the dreadful, horrible past, becomes again the unbearable present. When the past threatened Dr. Benno Sternberg, or Koenig, as he is now called, Benno struck at it furiously and killed it. However, society calls what he did murder, and Benno must find a way to live with it.
Rosa? Come, have your tea. Rosa.
Yes.
All day you stand there looking out at the window as if you expect someone.
I expect someone, Benno.
Who?
You know who. The police officer.
Rosa.
Every time I see a policeman...
I killed a man who deserved to die.
You can't talk that way. They spoke that way. They decided who could live and who must die.
How many appointments have I today?
I'll look in the book. Why?
Cancel them.
I did that yesterday and the day before.
I don't feel well.
Benno, you know what you have to do.
Don't tell me anything. Let me be. I killed Meyer and it's over. Done with. It's in the past. And the past must be forgotten. The past is dead. Do you understand?
Yes, Benno. I understand.
Well, yes, Lieutenant. It was the first of the month, and Mr. Meyer, he comes into the place to collect his rent. I give him his money in $20 bills. Yeah. Come the first of the month, he would start at the far end of the block with Domming's Meat Market. He collected from all the stores on this side of the street.
What kind of man was this, Mr. Meyer?
Very methodical. On the dot. Always here 4 o'clock in the afternoon of the first day of the month. Always started collecting from the far end. Always wound up with me.
Always, Mr. Shannon?
Always, Lieutenant Swift.
That last day, too?
Sure. We chatted a bit about this and that, and I seen him to the door.
Where did he go?
Oh, just 10, 15 feet to the bus stop on the corner, through for the day. Then one of the kids runs into him, not meaning any harm, of course, and they bring him inside to the good doctor's place. It's the corner house next door, and that's the last I seen of him. You could always depend on him to show up 4 o'clock in the afternoon every first of the month. And you'd better have the rent.
Hello, Mrs. Coney.
Oh.
I'm sorry to bother you again. Is the doctor in?
Yes. Won't you have a seat?
This really won't take a minute.
I'll tell him you're here.
Thank you.
Benno, he's here, the police officer. Why is he here?
Perhaps he wants to ask me a question.
What? He was already here once.
I don't know why he's here.
He knows, I tell you, he knows.
Be quiet. There's no way for him to know. I'll tell him to come in.
Yes, but please, Benno, don't ask me to stay in here with you.
Rosa, I need you.
I can't help you, Benno. I'm too frightened. I would give us away. Please, go inside, officer. The doctor will see you now.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to impose again.
It's all right, Lieutenant.
I neglected to ask you something the other day.
Yes?
You said Mr. Meyer had been here for about 10 minutes.
It might have been 15. I didn't think to check.
Oh, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Now, when he left the office, where did he go?
Where did he go? I would say he went out.
Out to the street?
Well, yes, out to the street.
Well, there's also a back door that leads to the alleyway where his body was discovered. Could he have gone out that back door?
No, he went out the front door.
I see. Well, I'll have to pick up the trail from there, somehow. Well, thank you again.
It's nothing.
Goodbye, Doctor. Goodbye, Mrs. Coney.
Goodbye.
Rosa.
Yes?
I must lie down for a while.
But you have an appointment to examine Mr. Kavlik in 15 minutes.
I have to lie down. Cancel it.
But that man doesn't have a telephone.
That's not my problem.
Benno.
I can't do any work this afternoon.
What did the officer want?
Nothing.
Then what's bothering you?
Nothing's bothering me. I don't feel well. I'm 62 years old. Don't I have the right to feel ill once in a while?
Hey, Smithy.
Yeah?
How you doing on the Meyer thing?
Oh, I'm nowhere, Captain. Full week and I'm nowhere.
I'll have to pull you off it. We got a gangland killing.
Could I have a couple of more days?
Well, this new thing won't go away.
there's something about this Meyer killing that doesn't quite add up.
Why doesn't it? Guy's smart. The whole neighborhood knows what he's carrying. It's a miracle he hasn't been knocked off before.
I know, something bothers me.
What?
I don't know. And that's what bothers me. Oh, I'll get it, Captain. Homicide South, Lieutenant Smith.
Lieutenant, this is Jerry Shannon. You know me. I own the saloon.
Sure. What can I do for you?
I think I can do something for you.
What's that?
I can give you the killer of Charles Meyer.
Who is he? Who's the killer, Shannon?
This $20 bill. See what it says?
At last.
At last, indeed. Old man Rumley has owed me 20 since the last days of the Eisenhower administration. Now, about a week ago, he struts into the joint, slams it down on the bar. At last, he says. At last, I agrees. And to commemorate this historic occasion, I takes pen in hand, makes this great inscription. This was one of the 20s I give to Charlie Meyer for the rent. And I shouldn't be astonished if that red smear was blood.
And how did it come back to you?
Not an hour ago, a local hooligan, Tommy Willis. He strolls in here, bangs the 20 on the bar, and buys drinks for the house.
Tommy Willis. Yeah. Well, I guess that takes care of that.
I'm being framed.
Where'd you get the $2,000?
I told you, a friend gave it to me.
What's his name?
I told you, I don't remember.
There's bloodstains on these bills, bloodstains on your jacket. How'd the blood get on your jacket, Tommy?
I was shaving.
You always wear a jacket when you shave, don't you, kid? You passed this bill at Shannon's bar. He swears it was one of the bills you paid Meyer with. Come on, Tommy. The stenographer's ready.
Don't drown yourself, cop.
What's the truth, Tommy? Come on.
I told you, Lieutenant, the guy give me the dough.
No, Tommy. Tell us the truth.
You wouldn't believe it.
Well, what have you got to lose? We don't believe the story you're telling now, either.
Okay, it's 1:30, 2 o'clock at night, see? I'm taking a shortcut through the alley.
Yeah.
It's dark. I trip over something. A guy. Now, I fall right on top of him. That's how come I got blood on the jacket.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I look close.
Yeah.
It's a stiff. Now, I didn't do it. I figure I better blow, but,
Yeah.
But I figure as long as I'm there, maybe got some loose change on him, see? I reach in and I pull out a whole roll. So I'm rich, see?
You gonna stick to that story, Tommy?
The truth.
Well, maybe the jury will believe you.
You can't hang it on me.
Posner, Daly, take him back.
Wait a minute, I didn't do it. I go up against the jury with my rap, I'm gone for life. Now give me a break.
Who wants coffee?
What if he's telling the truth, Captain?
Smitty, what are you saying?
What if he's telling the truth?
Come on, Smitty, the bills, the blood, it's open and shut.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe what?
No, I could buy it if
what?
If when Meyer left the doctor's office, he went out the back way into the alley. But he didn't. According to the doctor, he went out the front door into the street.
So?
How could Tommy get him to go back there to the alley? Meyer was through for the day. If he left the front way, he'd be at the bus stop.
So maybe he went out the back way.
But Dr. Koenig says... Maybe I better check Dr. Koenig again.
That police officer's here again. He wants to see you.
Well, can I refuse to see him?
What can he want? This is the third time he's been here. He must know something.
Rosa, you must control yourself. Please, come in, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. I'm sorry to intrude. It's about Mr. Meyer again. We've made an arrest.
What?
We're positive we have the killer.
Who is it?
A young thug named Willis. Tom Willis.
What will they do to him?
Life, at least. But, there's one thing that has me stumped. I would be more certain it was Tom.
You mean you're not sure?
Well, I'd be 100% sure if I could resolve one detail. Now, you said Mr. Meyer left your office through the front door. Are you positive he didn't go out the back door?
I'm only positive he left the office. I took it for granted that he went out into the street.
Oh, then actually you didn't see him go out into the street.
Oh, let me think. Well, it was over a week ago, and
Is something the matter, Doctor?
I saw him.
You saw him?
Yes, I'm sorry you didn't ask me.
Well, perhaps I should have asked you.
I saw him come from my husband's surgery, come here into the waiting room. And I saw him to the door because he seemed a bit unsteady. And in the hallway, he turned to the right, which leads to the back entrance. So I remember I called to him. I said, "That's the back door." And he answered me, "It's all right. I know where I'm going."
Well, then that clears it all up.
I'm sorry I contributed to the misunderstanding. It was just that I naturally thought he would go.
Oh, no harm done. I don't think I'll have to bother you again, Doctor, Mrs. Koenig. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Lieutenant. Oh, Rosa.
Now I'm in it too, Benno. Now I'm also a part of it.
And that should be the end of it, shouldn't it? The police have a suspect with whom they're very happy. And certainly he would seem to be the ideal killer. If you were on the jury and didn't know what we know, wouldn't you vote to convict on this evidence? Of course you would. Is this Lieutenant Smith's last visit to Benno's office? You know it isn't. Be here when he calls again in just a few moments, when I return with Act 3. Who shall live, and who shall die, and who shall make that decision? A three-part question as old as mankind. And for all that we have advanced, assuming, of course, that we have advanced at all, we have never even come close to answering any part of that question, let alone all of it. It's a question now that bewilders and bedevils Benno and Rosa Sternberg, or Benno and Rosa Koenig, as they have chosen to call themselves. Two people who have never done anything wrong in a long and useful lifetime, until last week. And now, one crime must beget another.
No. It would be different if he were somebody.
What do you mean, somebody?
Somebody that mattered.
All of us matter.
He's a hoodlum, a criminal. I won't die for him.
Shall he die for us?
Why not?
Why not? Oh, my dear Lord.
Rosa.
When did you ever talk this way, Benno? Yes, you killed Meyer, but he poisoned you first. And the poison has spread. Soon it'll reach your heart. Soon you will talk like Meyer and the rest of them. Soon you will be like Meyer.
Please, Rosa.
Benno, can you let this boy die for you?
Rosa, just once. Just once, let us be hard.
Hard?
Let us be smart. The way men must be if they want to survive. This is the world, Rosa. A world we never made, but this is what it takes to live in the world.
To live? Live how?
For what? For just once, and no more. Let someone else pay for us. For once, just once, let someone else be a victim.
Is that what you want, Benno?
I want to go on living, working, helping people with my skill.
You haven't seen a single patient all week.
I know, but I will. I'm better now. I'm ready.
You will never be ready.
No, I'm ready.
Your right hand. See how it shakes?
It's cold in here.
It'll always be cold in here.
You must help me, Rosa.
Oh, if I only could. But Ben, that right hand of yours, it was used to kill. How can it ever be used to cure again unless you...
I don't want to hear any more.
Well, Smithy, he's been indicted, and I see you're a hero. Did you read the papers? Quick, efficient, skillful police work by an alert team of homicide detectives led by Everett Smith. Was a good job, Smitty. Smitty.
Yeah?
What's the matter now?
I don't know.
I know you got the blahs. Once the excitement of a case is over,
You know, I wish I could convince myself that it really should be over.
What are you building to?
Why did Meyer go out the back way?
Hold the phone. When he went out the front way, you were unhappy because you didn't see how he could wind up in the back alley.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so now that we established he did go out the back way, shouldn't that tie it up?
No.
Why not? It does what it has to do. It puts him in the alley, where you needed him.
I know, but...
Yeah?
What was he doing in that alley?
Oh, come on, Smitty.
No, look. Meyer was a smart apple. He had to be. Now, he's carrying a lot of money in a tough neighborhood. He's through for the day. The habits of 25 years should send him to the bus stop right outside of Shannon's bar, just outside of Dr. Koenig's apartment.
So?
So why doesn't he go right to the bus stop right after Koenig treats him?
Well, maybe...
Maybe what? What does he want to go into that back alley for? What sense does it make?
You can't figure some guys.
But you could figure him. He had a routine as steady as the clock, as regular as the calendar. Now, why would he go into the alley?
Look, it's an interesting mental exercise, but we got work to do.
Billingham, don't fight me. Go with me, just for a minute. Now, let's say that Tommy Willis didn't kill Meyer.
But he did. The evidence...
Just for the sake of argument. Say we didn't have Tommy, all right? Where would we be?
We would be exactly nowhere.
And who would have been the last person to see Meyer alive? Dr. Koenig. That's who.
Are you trying to drag the doctor into this?
No, I'm just walking along a path. I don't know where it's going.
Meyer gets hit in the eye accidentally.
Right.
He gets taken into Dr. Koenig's office accidentally.
Right.
Because this doc happens to be closest to the scene.
Right.
Now, why would Koenig kill him?
I didn't say Koenig killed him.
Well, what are you saying?
I want another day on this case.
Oh, Smitty.
No, something's bothering me.
What kind of line have you got to follow?
If we discount Tommy... Now, I said if. What have we got? An encounter between Koenig and Meyer. Till now, we figured it a robbery. If it isn't, what is it?
You got the floor.
Why do we assume that Koenig and Meyer didn't know each other?
Because Koenig said so.
Yeah. You know what I want to do today? I want to check both of them out.
Oh, good afternoon, Lieutenant.
Hey, good afternoon, Mrs. Koenig. Is the doctor in?
Who rang the bell, Rose?
Oh, I'd like to talk to you, Doctor.
Do you have some more questions?
Well, I'm not here as a detective. I'm calling on you as a patient.
A patient?
Mm-hmm.
Is something wrong?
I have a problem.
Yes?
I don't know what to do.
About what?
I must reach a decision.
Concerning something physical?
No. It's a matter of, morals, ethics.
But how can I help you? This sounds like more of a problem for a psychiatrist.
A man like you, Doctor, who practices in a neighborhood like this, he knows quite a bit about human behavior. I've asked around. Folks here seem to think you're some kind of god.
That's not really true. I just practice.
I don't know what to do, and I want you to help me make up my mind.
Well, if there's some way I can help.
It has to do with Mr. Meyer.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. You see, we have a young punk named Tommy Willis for the murder. It's a dream case for a prosecutor. He'll be set up for life. Understand?
Yes.
And he should be. Now, on the other hand, and I can't prove any of this, we have a Dr. Benno Koenig.
Yes?
A great man.
What are you trying to say, Lieutenant?
What I'm trying to say is very difficult, Doctor. That's why I'll need your help. Now, I checked out a Dr. Benno Koenig at the local medical association. They never heard of him.
Benno.
Let me continue, Mrs. Koenig. And no hospital ever heard of him either. So, I must assume that this Dr. Koenig, if he is a doctor, is practicing without a license.
I am a doctor.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
I survived. Rosa and I, we survived the camps. Don't ask how. But when it was over, I wanted to come to this country. But I couldn't get on a quota. A friend of mine and his wife, they did. And they were killed in an accident. His name was Benno Koenig. We took the visa, the papers, but the only thing was, Koenig wasn't a doctor. I could come to this country under the name Benno Koenig, but I couldn't practice medicine.
I see.
But I must practice, or die. All those years in the camps, the thought that one day I could once again be a doctor, that's what kept me alive.
I understand, Doctor.
And so, for all these years, I have hidden myself here. I treat the poor, the forgotten, the hopeless. Who would bother me here? Who would think to ask?
And then Meyer walked in.
Meyer.
Now, I can't prove any of this. Remember, I can't prove it. But Meyer, now he must have been part of your past. An evil part of your past. No. Don't answer me. And so, you killed him. I can understand that as a human being. I could even justify it. No. Please, don't talk. Remember, I can't prove any of this. Even if we could establish that you did know Meyer, even if we could establish a motive from the past, we couldn't prove it. But I have a problem.
Yes. What to do about the fact that I have no license, no credentials to stop me from practicing?
No. I'm a homicide detective. I'm not concerned with that. Well, maybe I should be, but in my business, on a practical basis, we have to overlook things every day. No, my problem is Tommy Willis.
The boy.
Now, I don't know what to do. I could forget everything and go on to my next case. Should I? I mean, after all, why shouldn't Tommy pay for Meyer?
Why?
Whom means more to the community? You or Tommy? And let me tell you something else. If Tommy beats this rap, he'll be back again in a day, a week, a month. He'll commit murder. That's where he's headed. Isn't this the best solution to the problem? Well, what? I've come for advice, Doctor. What should I do?
I can't advise you.
You can, Doctor. You can. You're a man of experience and wisdom.
No.
I want your advice.
No.
Benno.
No. You must do what your conscience commands.
What does your conscience command, Doctor?
I say...
Now, remember, the case against Tommy is ironclad. No one need ever know except us. There are poor people out there. You're their only hope. Isn't it better for you to stay here and help them?
But I can't help them. I can't, not anymore. My hands, they're no longer the hands of a doctor. They're the hands of a murderer.
Benno.
Yes, Rose. You were always right. I must pay.
But Meyer was trash. This boy is no better. Remember who you're paying for.
Still, I must pay.
We must pay.
And this is how we survive the Meyers. Lieutenant, let me treat you for the problem you came in with. I can do it. Now I can do it. I murdered Camp Commandant Karl-Heinz Meyer.
Hey, Doc. Oh, Joseph, that arm.
What happened?
It went right through a plate glass window.
Come inside quickly. Oh, may I, Lieutenant?
Well, go right ahead, Dr. Koenig.
You mean Dr. Sternberg?
First, we must stop the bleeding.
Oh, would you mind waiting, Lieutenant? Dr. Sternberg will be with you in just a few minutes.
Honesty may be the best policy, true. So why don't more people follow it? The answer is that the best things usually cost the most, and sometimes the price is too high to pay. But in the end, Benno and Rosa Sternberg paid it, the way they always paid it, gladly. Because once you're accustomed to the best, it's hard to settle for less. I'll be back shortly. The book says, by their deeds you shall know them. And it's always true. In the long run, they will do the same deeds over and over again. After all, the leopard doesn't change his spots, does he? The mayors of this world will go on being the mayors, and so will the Sternbergs. And where will it end? That depends on who will survive, and on whom each of us will choose to be. Our cast included Howard Da Silva, Clarice Blackburn, Sam Gray, Gilbert Mack, and Jack Grimes. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Everyone in this town seems to know what's wrong with my house except Helen and me.
They know there's something wrong. That's all they know.
Oh, and you know more, beautiful Zoe. Ah, yes. Behind those beautiful green eyes lies secret.
And your attitude is one reason why I can't tell you. You wouldn't believe me anyway.
Try me.
All right. The house you're living in doesn't really belong to you. That house was stolen from the daughter of Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau? Who's she?
The most powerful Bokor in the history of voodoo. The beautiful black woman who ruled as the voodoo queen of New Orleans for half a century. You, Douglas Fenton, are living in the house of the voodoo queen. And she wants you out.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Mystery Theater comes to you from CBS Radio and Radio 87.